Alright, starting the stream. Hang on, let me quickly look if everything works. Alright. Hey guys! Did you miss me? Alright. We are so back. Holy shit. It's been a hot minute, hasn't it? So, there we go. How are you all doing? do you see now why I needed to get the right music for the right moments? Alright. The rest of the OBS plugins are just coming online right now. Already I'm seeing quite some tragedies in the chat box. I'm very sorry for that. Welcome back to the living, nerds. Yeah, it's been quite a while, hasn't it? I've been really excited to stream today, especially, and I don't mean this to, I don't mean to say this to be mean, but especially since I have the house to myself and can be as quirky and loud and stream for as long as I want without, feeling like a bother to my girlfriend. Not that she would make me feel like that, but I'm quite conscious about that. Alright, the tragedy that I was referencing was my local store only got 3 Terror of Devon boxes. I was number 4 on the list, says Panzer Kitsune. I'm very sorry to hear that. Hey, Rise is here, and Bearded Drauger as well. Looking fancy? I mean, hey guys, it's been so long, I need to look spiffing if I, show up again. This has turned from like 3 times a week to like once a month if we are lucky, right? So I better dress the part, right? Desk fits the got the house to myself time. Oh yeah, and the washing in the back and the general untidiness. Oh yeah, definitely. Got any drinks tonight? Actually, I do. I think I just drank my water. But I do have a little bit of nice mead here. Actually, very special mead. So as you can see here, it's just, some it looks like just some red wine, but it's actually a little bit more magical than that. Oh yeah. Can I see that? I think so. And apart from that, I just get a beer or something. Well, you had a final exam to focus on? I still do. I can show you some progress if you guys would like. I've recently completed the... Hang on, let me get the swing music online. Alrighty. I'm hyped for this stream. Recently I finished the digital works, or rather, I feel like, I'm pretty much done with it. And now I need to move on to the actual oil paintings, the actual oil painting side. And hang on, there we go. Alright, the left stream, there you are. And here is one of the current pictures that I'm painting. So this is oil on canvas. This is, I think, 60 by 80 centimeters. And this is how it's looking so far. I started yesterday, and today I went to the art supply store, and as you can see there, maybe on the stand and a little bit further. Hang on, where is the other thing? Don't know how perspective works, which is bad for an artist. Okay, funnily enough, all the canvases that I got today are obstructed by something else. I did not plan for that to happen. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so this is how the diploma is looking so far. I still have around 18 weeks to finish everything. Roughly, more like 17 to 16. So yeah, and my art professor, like my tutor, says this, a single picture like this as I'm planning it, not necessarily this, but another, thing that I had planned, would usually take 2 whole semesters, which is fun. Oh, hang on, I should do this instead. Ah, there we go. Yeah, trying a little bit of different music today. I hope it's not too weird. 13 weeks, 1 semester away. Hey, the real Inquisitor. Hey, good to have you here, mate. Yeah, no, not 13, thankfully, but like 16, so it's like a couple of weeks more. I still need to file some paperwork, and I've got a lot of other stuff to do, but that shall not be the main focus of today. Today we want to get back to painting. I haven't checked out the playlist running in the background right now, so if the music is a little bit weird, you know, if it's a little bit out of hand, then let me know and I'll change it back to the usual slow jazz. But Rice says, nice music, very nice vibe, kinda suits what I'm painting now. Great, what are you painting? How are you guys holding up? It's been, yeah, again, it's been quite a long time. There's been a lot happening on my end. Not only diploma side, but, you know, I also wanna move, I also wanna leave this flat, I need to look for opportunities after the diploma and so on. So all of that jazz, funnily enough, was quite tiresome, quite tedious. Electricing is always good? Great. I'm painting Terminator, ooh. I've been painting on my own time, the little bit that I did have. I've been painting Gorslav the Gravekeeper. You know, very classic miniature. Here on the left you see the new version. Here on the right is the older version. You know, few difference here and there, but for the most part I stuck to my recipe. Because I do want to sell, you know, my last Cursed City. I'd like to sell that rather soon. So I need to make sure that all the miniatures are painted. But today I didn't want to, you know, hold us up with more Cursed City. Instead, I would like to paint some Stormcast Eternals, as I remember the call for more fantasy and Age of Sigmar related works very well. So I didn't paint a Space Marine, although you know, for example, a nice Blood Angel to celebrate the 11th edition might be quite cool. But instead, you know, I thought, why not stick to the Space Marines that are in the Age of Sigmar realm. Model looks good, Jan? Perfect, thank you. Rice says killer, nice. Same for me, moving to a cheaper place now. Ah, okay, nice, yeah. Moving out soon. Girlfriend of 20 years fled the relationship, oh no! Oh, dude. That's a... dang, alright. Dang. That's rough. Keep your head up high, man. Perfect, I guess perfect timing for a new edition and new starter boxes to come out. Why does the guy hold a sextant though? Yeah, excellent chat. Because he is part of the crew that mans the Celestial Ballista. The least impressive piece of artillery that I've probably ever seen, especially for, you know, these Space Marine looking dudes. It very much reminds me of the kind of Eagle Claw bolt thrower that the Dark Elves had in Warhammer Fantasy back in the olden days. But you know, I don't really have any plans for these guys. I mean, I do, but I don't have them in like a broader video series making kind of sense. So I'm thinking, you know, why not take these guys out for a spin today, try to do something fun. Try to experiment a bit, you know. Men do anything but therapy. Dude, no big deal. Don't let the chipper mood drop. Alright. These men, this year has begun for relationship. But don't you use the sextant for navigation or on sea? It is a good question why he would use a sextant, yeah. I mean, it's not quite a sextant now, is it? Oh well. And the other guy is holding what I think looks like a magazine. Probably to slot in right here, maybe? I'm not quite sure. And what looks to be like a wrench or a hand crank, maybe. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, I didn't see what Panzer Kids in a road. But yeah. Apart from that, I really haven't gotten to any, like, much painting. I've also been really procrastinating because the thought of now finally starting my oil paintings has been holding me back quite a bit. Instead, I've turned back to writing the overall story for the book, for the novel, which, you know, serve as my set dressing for these oil paintings. Set dressing, I say, you know, novel being set dressing. Which has been getting quite good. I quite enjoy that process. Although, you know, that's not the thing that is getting graded. So, well, gotta get on with that. Alright, the idea that I've had for these guys is a little bit of an interesting one. Let's just say it like that. I want to start with their armor, and I don't want to start with my crack blue, that's the wrong one. I want to start with... the thing is a little bit too bright. I think I might need to mix those up. But yeah. Wanted to use the bolt thrower as a quad gun for my Emperor's Children in 30k, but the design just doesn't fit. Ah. Damn. On the topic of models and modification, I've been really out of the loop in terms of like new releases. I haven't even seen the new edition trailer. So maybe we'll have a look at that during like a small break if I need to take one. If you guys would be up for that. Yeah. Unfortunately, but yeah. Heinrich has also been very busy. He moved as well. I helped him move, actually. Went to IKEA together, you know, small IKEA date. Gobbling up some balls, you know. Some meatballs, that is. There's lots of old models being updated to monopose, no big deal really. Yeah, really? Okay. Nah, I don't like that. Yeah, that's okay. I hope I still got it, man. It's been so long. But yeah, I helped him move. It went rather smoothly. We used my girlfriend's car for the move, which worked almost completely without incident, apart from the fact that we didn't get everything from IKEA in one go. We actually had to go back. I had to leave him there and go into his apartment alone. Unload the first wave and then come back for the second one. I want to start on the armor with like this almost space wolfy blue undercoat. Because what I want to do actually is for my Age of Sigmar Cities of Sigmar force, which I haven't really started. I mainly talk about one unit of steel helms. Entirely Avedra, of course. For my Age of Sigmar Cities of Sigmar army, I want to have them be from a like foggy, misty coastal town, which I want to, you know, have based on the place that I actually come from in real life. At least a little bit, you know, the general region. I'm not telling yourself where I live exactly. And yeah, for that I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll have these Stormcasts be part of that army as well. Or at least part of that general aesthetic. Because I think the way that the armor is designed for the bolt throwers, you know, the leather right here, the leather and cloth tabard, I think works very, will lend itself very nicely to what I'm thinking. A little bit more rugged, a little bit more grounded, a little bit less gaudy. That's what I'm going for today. Whole new squad of intercessors, but big thing, they changed the Mark 10 helmet to Mark 7 and call it new and cool. Yeah, Heinrich actually said, that's the one thing that I know as well, hang on. It's already, we're not even half an hour in, not even 20 minutes, but I gotta show you guys something that Heinrich sent me. Hope Instagram is not completely blasting your ears off. Okay, hang on. So this is what he sent me, right? Can I do this without... No, I can't, okay. Alrighty. Yep, there we go. The comments as well. And the chats go wild. Knee pads, you forgot the knee pad. It's so good. I love that Heinrich keeps getting proven right about his assessment that... stop. That every single edition of Warhammer is just, you know, every single new addition to the Space Marine roster is just the same guy with a different helmet. I think he's, you know, it's a little bit of an overstatement, but when I saw that, I was like, oh dang, alright. Sweet idea, thank you. To be fair, it looks less shit. Oh, do you think? I actually like the... So, as iconic and as nostalgic that the old helmet is, the Mark 7 one, I actually really like the Primaris helmet, the Mark 10 one. I really like the overall, like, knight, like the space knight aesthetic that it has. Hot take, I like the mix of old and new armor. Yeah, me too. Can't complain. I think it's fun. A Saturday surprise, howdy! Hey Vash, how are you doing? Fancy seeing you here, lad. Yeah, it's actually a what do you call it in oh damn, Fancy Kitchen is getting... You seen my meme video of corn? It's in the memes channel. Oh, I'll have a look shortly. That's not a hot take, it just personally just don't like how Primaris was introduced. Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, fair enough, yeah. I gotta say, as controversial as Psychic Awakening I think it was, and, you know, the overall introduction of the Primaris and Guilliman and everything, that's actually something that I completely, let's say, dodged when I came to the hobby. Simply because I only cared for Warhammer Fantasy in those days, and when I eventually got over to Warhammer 40k, the Primaris were already a thing, more or less. I came basically right around that time where Games Workshop didn't really know how to handle the old Marines. So, it's like the old saying goes, science progresses not by convincing the non-believers, or like the non-thinkers, I don't know. Science progresses by raising the next generation with the truth. Something along those lines. I only know the saying in German, which is why I maybe botched the translation there a little bit. I developed a hate for Mark 10 mainly due to learning more about old 40k and learning why people hate Primaris Marines. Yeah, yeah, that too. At least back in the Primaris days, Games Workshop still gave an F about how they introduced new... Is his arm actually naked? Look at that! Oh, holy shit, I've never noticed that until now. He actually has just bare arms. That man is a Second Amendment absolutist. He does have the right to bear arms, and he uses it. Holy shit. Alright. I think that makes this whole aesthetic that I'm going for even better. Alright. Yeah, GW introduced a good way for the Primaris other than they're here now deal with it. Would have been fine. I mean, the Primaris surely were the ultimate Deus Ex Machina. You know, oh yeah, remember back in like 10,000 years previously when we had this discussion, you and me, Call, said Guilliman. When I told you to do the thing that will help us now 10,000 years later down the line and everything just perfectly slot into place. Yeah. I don't know. I do get it, yet at the same time I also recognize that it was, you know, at least the Primaris also had their good thing, right? It drove the narrative forwards. They had a lot of story opportunity with it, which they took. So I think, you know, I'm still rather quite positive about the Primaris. The Primaris introduction was shit, it's just less shit in comparison to today's GW. Well, you know, I mean, I've seen Luatin's video on the death of STC and how everything that Games Workshop introduces nowadays in terms of like new vehicles, for example for the Imperial Guard, they're basically just like, oh yeah, it's always been there, you know? Much like certain other things. They just call it a day and say it's always been there, stop complaining. Instead of saying like, oh yeah, they found this STC during the battle of planet shitfuck B, you know, something like that. But no, it's like, oh yeah, it's always been there. We've been actually relying heavily on these vehicles for a long time now. Why? Like, why? Can you do something else? Like, it feels so elitist to complain about such things, but I think it is fair enough to, you know, notice how Games Workshop is seems to get a little bit lazier. Or rush their writing stuff, maybe that too. I don't know. The models are cool though. I actually saw on Insta one of those women creators saying that Femtors was a mistake. If that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. Fair enough. I highly disagree considering the Femtors thing happened and there was something significantly worse. Oh yeah. Not to mention that they removed several SOS units from the new editions. Really? Dang. Yeah, for some reason the doctrine of we abhor the new and keep the old alive of the Mechanicum just got up and stopped. I mean, I get that at least a little bit. I feel like they could have, like, I feel like it's a natural progression that now that the Emperor's sons are returning, that the Imperium has a little bit more, you know, from their point of view, progressive thinking. Instilled from the top down, right? However, I feel like it's only really mentioned in passing how this new ideology, you know, gets a foothold in the very stagnant and stiff Imperium. And I feel like there would have been much more potential for like cool stories if they really wanted to. With maybe like Mechanicum seceding or something like that. However, I also do realize that they have got other shit to worry about, I guess. I don't know. It's a little bit of a mixed bag on that. Again, I still feel that the Imperium starting to, you know, progress is a natural progression for the verse, especially when you want to try to build it out. However, I do feel it feels a little bit rushed. At least they name it, you know? At least they do name it. They name some discontent, malcontent people in the Imperium. But it's only like in passing, and it seems like most people are just on Call's side. Yeah, the removal of Sisters of Silence units. The removal of Sisters of Silence units is a major bummer. They should just have added the 30k units to regular 40k. Yeah, I think so too. Luton made a video about that, but honestly he seems to has to cope about what is happening. I mean, yeah. Luton is not a fan. I mean, how frustrating does it have to be like a scholar, basically, in your field, in your lore? You really know your lore, and then the driving factor behind all of it just starts straight up ignoring all of the things that they built over the past 40 years, right? So, yeah. We should care about Luton's opinion, why? I mean, he's like, in my opinion, he's like the guy who really gets down to the nitty-gritty of it and actually tries to understand the Warhammer lore from like a historian's perspective. Like his methods seem to be very good. He has a little bit more of an academic approach to it all. He reads all the books, he reads all the compendia, and stuff like that, and he can actually, you know, cite where he gets his ideas from, where he gets his sources from. He's not like Senator Armstrong, right? Exactly, he doesn't care about canon. Why the fuck should I take him seriously about any of his opinions? I mean, fair. That's what I mean with Cope. He says lore isn't a thing while making lore videos. He stands on lore, stands in contradictions to his videos. Oh, that is actually a good point. Yeah. But I feel that's an oversimplification. The thing that I think from Luton is like, he understands, like on a meta level, that Games Workshop just, every time they write themselves into a corner, they just can't stay in there. They have to write themselves out again. And by the very nature of how 40k works, he does suspend disbelief in the sense that, okay, if there are sudden changes, it still can make sense. In the long run, for example. But, hang on. He still wants, you know, the established lore. There is a certain art to it, right? To retconning and everything. And what Games Workshop is doing now feels a little bit crude for no apparent reason. I mean, like, for example, with the Hippogriff, right? Why not, or the Griffin? Why not just say, oh, it's another more flexible design for scouting missions? Or, hey, we found this old STC chassis, and instead of putting tracks under it, we scaled it down and put some wheels on it as like the first instance of, you know, actual progression and innovation by the Mechanicus, other than core. For example, right? Would make for an interesting plot point, don't you think? But they don't do that. They say, oh yeah, it's always been there. Why? For no reason. He literally said that any book is unreliable narrator, which is a stupid take. Does he really say that though? I feel like he very much specifies that some narrators are more reliable than others. And like small changes in the lore, like very slight deviances, can be explained by the unreliability of a mortal narrator. I feel like that's his stance. He doesn't say, he doesn't run defense for anything Games Workshop does. At least it doesn't feel like that to me, right? But I'm not him. I mean, I'm him, but I'm not him. I'm Ryan Gosling, but I'm not Lewitton. What do we do with the ballista, though? I feel like I want to have some blue in here too. Blue, brown. I think I'll do the metal blue as well. Yep. Alright. Sold. But yeah. I mean, with the Hippogriff and the other vehicles, you know, it's not that big of a deal, really. And I've also seen people complain, like, they put out the new half-track with the Armageddon box, although Armageddon is a harsh wasteland, so you would have an enclosed space, you know, actually, you know, kind of Reddit stuff. And I feel like, okay, that's a little bit over the top. I love the new vehicles for the Guard. I really like them. I feel like the aesthetic gets a little bit lost. The World War I aesthetic, now it's getting more into a World War II aesthetic, which I'm not quite sure if I like that overall. But apart from that, so I have to still warm up to that. But apart from that, I really appreciate every new tank that the verse gets. So on a model standpoint, at least in terms of the Guard, Games Workshop has been cooking. And I've also seen, I first thought that was like those were just memes, but the Cockford, you know, talking about Age of Sigmar again. The new Cockford also looks hella impressive. Like, that is very cool. I still don't know how big it is. Heinrich sent me another picture, which I want to talk about maybe later. But as far as I'm concerned, model-wise, Games Workshop has been cooking. I don't know. The Space Marines really haven't wowed me away, you know? But even there, I feel like it's okay. It's okay. Unreliable narrator can be used well. However, if you try to argue that every book has an unreliable narrator, then that cheapens the experience drastically. Yes, apply the unreliable narrator to something like a mini-series, like say something is recorded from a first-person or third-person view as a remembrancer even. Yeah, and I feel like that is what he means though, right? There's like tiers of unreliable narration. If a random remembrancer, like a mortal human, tries to remember something, and it turns out, oh, that's not exactly how it went down, or Games Workshop wants to change that interaction retroactively, right? Then that's a lot, you know, then that is a lot more believable than a Primarch, you know, then, hang on, what do I want to say? If a mortal person has an encounter with, for example, a demon, and the way that that is narrated can always be taken with a little bit of a grain of salt, especially when the demon is talking, because of course a demon would be lying, could be lying, and the human might not remember it exactly as it went down. However, when a Primarch, when we see the world of 40k from the eyes of a Primarch, for example, then it's a lot more, you know, reliable, because of course they are like basically gods in mortal flesh. So of course they remember everything a bit better and also perceive the world a lot clearer. You know, that's what I mean when I talk about like tiers of unreliable narration. The human is always going to be more unreliable than a Primarch, for example. Tabletop Radio is also here, goddamn. The Real Inquisitor says, but that doesn't make sense for codes nor for narrative books that have an omniscient narrator. This can only be true for things set by the character in-universe, while it applies to the whole plotlines. Well, even then, I've always seen, you know, we all know, everybody who's played like one game of, for example, 40k, knows how drastically different units perform on the battlefield than they are described, right? For example, with the Armiger from the Knights Codex, the Imperial Knights Codex, it says, its weapons, its cannons fire a volley of unrelenting imperial fury that can mow down entire platoons of adversaries, you know, stuff like that. And then you look at the like model, how many shots it has, and it's like D3. And you think to yourself, what? You know, so even the codexes I do take with a grain of salt and view it as basically like imperial propaganda. Like the imperial populace is being gets these units described to them through the watchful eye of some Ministrorum guy or an Imperial logistician or something, you know? Of course, every weapon is always the best when being described to their faction. So even then, you know? If that makes sense. I find the new vehicles for the Guard to resemble regular military vehicles too much. I haven't really seen, like, I haven't taken too close of a look. I feel like the half-track works still. I think for that I gotta look more into detail. However, I don't really want to do that now. I'd rather want to do that with Heinrich together. Because, you know, it's always more fun to have another guy just chime in, right? Chip in. Yeah, the Space Marines aren't anything super special in my opinion, says Tabletop Radio Hour. They kind of seem like the same as the latest things they've been making. That's true. I've seen a great meme of, you know, a guy basically recreating how they designed everything, how Games Workshop designed everything. And that they spent the entire budget and the entire time on the orcs, you know, making sure they look great and everything. And then, like, the night before before the release, the announcement of the box set, they came together like, oh shit guys, we forgot the Space Marines, oh! And then they had to basically just pull something out of their noses for the Space Marines, and that's why the change is only so minusculely seeming. I don't know. I think I gotta look at the Space Marines more to appreciate them more. But at the end of the day, you know, who are we kidding, right? It's still Space Marines. Sure, they could have gone a little bit, you know, more off course, especially with the Blood Angels. I feel like those, you know, if you're portraying a different chapter, you do have a lot more freedom in your design. When always, instead of always, you know, thinking about, oh, it has to be an Ultramarine or something. Yet at the same time, it's only the models. You know, if you want to have a Blood Angel, you also do want to design a Blood Angel in a way that he can also be painted as a as an Ultramarine, without the model detracting from, you know, your choice of color, basically. Does it make sense? I think so. The new Primaris models all just resemble old school Space Marine units. I find they rely heavily on nostalgia nowadays. Ooh, who doesn't? Preach! Preach, nobody. Preach. Holy shit. Yeah. A lot of companies do that nowadays. Disney is, I think, the most famous example for that. But if Games Workshop does it, I don't like... I'm not surprised. Yeah. I feel like that's true. I don't only feel like that. That is true, yeah. But game and lore are different things. Obviously, the game mechanics don't line up because that's impossible. Yeah, of course. Again, that was more like in jest. I know that when you're talking about the game codexes, you're not talking about maybe unit descriptions, but more like the fluff lore behind it, how units are discovered and everything. Holy shit! I Have Regrets is now a member of this channel. Thanks to Matt. Holy shit, thank you. What? He did that without saying hello. First gifting a membership and then joining the chat. Thanks, Matt. Thank you very much. And to the user, I have regrets. I hope you don't. Okay. The new vehicles are more or less an American M3 half-track and British Saladin, both from World War II. I feel so too. I feel like you could make like the Africa Corps, if you're talking like a German World War II military, from those vehicles a little bit. They look like Sonderkraftfahrzeuge, right? At least the Hippogriff does. Though to be fair, it is a rough comparison. Elio has pulled his message back, saying now, hi everyone. Hi Elio, what did you mean to tell me? Yeah, too close to home. I prefer the goofy removed from reality designs. Oh yeah. Yeah. I do too. I feel like they might be actually I do feel that. I do feel like Games Workshop is cooking a little bit too close to home with their new designs. I feel like that's totally understandable, if you feel like that. The consequences of having no creative people left? Oh my gosh, yeah. I feel like that's what we are seeing in like in writing as well. Like when it says like, oh yeah, it's always been that way, you know? Why? Can't you think of anything else? And it doesn't initially... Oh, Tune is also here on Twitch. Hi, Tune. How are you doing? Damn, gifted. Yeah, Matt from Pressburg stirring up the joint. Hey man, how are you doing? What an entrance, yeah. Like the old school folks. Oh yeah, sure, right, you're right. Greetings to the warped side of Twitch. Oh yeah. Greetings to Tiyun. He's doing good, nice. I'm doing rather well as well. A lot of stuff happening. A lot of bureaucracy that I have to go over. And if I am ever short for things to talk about today, I will talk about that a little bit on what's going on behind the scenes. But rest assured, I am documenting that for you guys as well. So next year, I'll have a small series about how I made this diploma and what went around that. I feel a bit lonely here. You mean on Twitch? I hope you mean on Twitch. But yeah, it is a bit lonely over there. I'm constantly amazed on how much better YouTube is working out for streaming, in my case, than the other way around. I'm looking for a dark brown. Has one of you guys taken that? Oh yeah, Rhinox hide. The Rhinox hide that I got from Games Workshop. Warhammer World, yo. Alrighty. The nostalgia bait is beyond strong with bringing Angron, Yerrick, and Armageddon back to the mainstream. Yes. Yes, I do feel that too. However, to be fair, right? The fans, like, hang on, I'll even put on the face cam for that. To be fair though, you can call it nostalgia bait, but it's not like the fans didn't precisely want that, alright? Like, the fans have always, like, a lot of voices have always said, oh, what about the Yerrick? We want the Yerrick back. We want more diversity in the guard units. We want, for example, Steel Legion. We want other, battle scenes, Armageddon, for example. So, it's not like it comes out of nowhere, right? People have been a bit vocal about that. So I'm not, the nostalgia bait is there, don't get me wrong. Yet at the same time, I do understand why. It's not like nobody had wanted that, right? Matt says, greetings, I have a good mood, a very good mood, a very great day it is, as me, part of my historical sword club, got knighted, so now this stays here with this stream. Holy shit, I shall rest for a while, as I broke my hand on jousting. Are you... what? Holy shit, dude. First of all, congratulations. Second of all, let's go. Breaking your hand while jousting? My man is living the ultimate male fantasy. Let's go. That's actually so rad, dude. Well, glad to have you here. And glad to be, glad to get those good news. Sir Matt, yeah, right. Tabletop Radio says, and I get stick with what you know, but it's the newest edition of a game with a pretty big following that's kind of blown up recently. What? Oh, I feel like one message. Hang on, did I miss a message of yours, Tabletop Radio R? Or did you get censored somewhere along the lines? I think YouTube might have swallowed one of your messages, because it feels like I'm getting the second half to a message you wrote. Stick with what you know, but with the newest edition for a game with a pretty big following that's kind of blown up recently. So. Elio is the king of just taking back his messages. Why would he do that? Hey Squeam! Hey man! Welcome! I dehorsed my opponents so drastically. Oh yeah? Fucking go. Absolute alpha male in the chat right here. Nice. So-called alpha males like Andrew Tate have never taken a guy out of his saddle. Well done, sir. Well done. Well played. Skulls for the skull throne, blood for the blood god. How is that getting through, right? People get their messages taken down from YouTube for the weirdest reasons, and then I just read, like, blood for the blood god, and that's completely fine by YouTube. Okay. I mean, GW even started the stream with, look at the new box, just like back in the second edition. I mean, fair enough, right? Fair enough. I don't... I see the nostalgia bait, 100%, yet at the same time, no. It does taste so good, doesn't it? It's like a restaurant that said how your mama used to cook, or like how grandma used to cook, right? And then you're sitting down there and you eat. Would you really complain if it did taste like the thing that grandma used to make? No. However, if it gets worse, then, you know, I'm still in a very sour mood about the Star Wars sequels. And the only reason that I used to like them back in the day literally was just because I got baited so hard on the nostalgia. Which I'm now extra, you know, irritated about. Now I should build the new Cities of Sigmar core tower thing. No, you mean cock. Build your cock. But my armor hurts and I'm tired AF of wearing that armor of mine. Do you have like a picture of yourself in armor? I'd be delighted to have a look at that. Oh gosh, that's also another thing that reminds me. I wanted to start another oil painting today of like one of my characters. And when I woke up today, I was like, hang on. His design doesn't align with my original vision for him. Why doesn't it? And then I sat down and tried to redesign his look. Which certainly did not, you know, lead to much progress in the oil painting department today. Dear Legion, so glad they showed us Deathcore of Krieg and Cadians on Armageddon. Oh yeah. That's actually crazy work. I don't know why they did that. I feel like the only reason they did that is because they already have, like, for these animated trailers, they already have the Deathcore and the Cadia miniatures, the Cadia models, you know, worked out and fully rigged and everything. So it's just a, you know, just a thing of, like, efficiency, I guess. They don't have to make new models for the Steel Legion. Wonder how true that is, though, because in the end they do have the models for Steel Legion modeled for the miniatures, huh? I don't know. Might be talking out of my ass here. Yeah, the Steel Legion debacle was low too. Just paint your Deathcore unit like the Steel Legion problem solved, said GW. I mean, to be fair though, wasn't that how Krieg was usually supposed to be done? In the olden days where Steel Legion had the miniatures and Krieg didn't. GW just said, hey, paint them this way and you have Krieg. And now we have Krieg miniatures but no Steel Legion, so they say, hey, paint them this way and you get Steel Legion. I can't criticize them too harshly for that either, to be fair. It has to always be, like, somewhat economical, and I wonder how well or how bad the numbers look on the back end for them to, you know, do that. Always about that stockholder value, you know. Ice Cream says, reached the halfway mark on a Doctor Who scarf I'm knitting just today. Nice. As nobody says, sweet. Matt says, drop the like for Jan so I can put a video of me jousting that my peasant took from a crowd. Oh yeah. Drop as many likes as Matt drops enemies in the joust. What enemies have you been jousting? Other Habsburgs? Other Pressburgers? Or some Burgundy folk? Half the thing is longer than I am. What are you trying to do, man? Ice Cream, holy shit. But yeah, that's dedication. Great to hear, actually. I don't wear it right now, but if I did, I would tip my hat. One legend to another. Primates, boys. It's mostly like savage orcs from Warhammer Fantasy riding on Gorilla. A cherry on top of Warhammer Fantasy conversion. Oh yeah? I mean, they do sound great. I've seen a lot of people building their own cockforts from like leftover terrain pieces and spruce and stuff. That has been also very like cool to see. I really like that. Maybe I should do that rather than get myself a cockfort of my own. Not that I would. I do have enough miniatures to paint for the next decade. Especially with the pace I'm at right now. But yeah, maybe I should do that. Would make for a more interesting project, I think. But devcore weather too. Well, I posted a video and photo on Discord Townspeak. Perfect, I'll have a look at that later. Thank you. Next painting mark is the Wrecker Kill Team. Ooh, okay. Man, I do want to get back into... Life has been so weird lately. It has felt a little bit weird. Because I'm so in the, you know... Oh, I need to get my stuff done for diploma. I've been so in the efficiency work mode that I really have done not a lot to just, you know, unwind or, you know, I don't know how to say it. I really haven't done much things aside stuff for my diploma because I think on a very underlying, as a very underlying baseline, I do feel the stress of the diploma finally getting to me. And that's why every time I do want to do something else that's not diploma related, there's like a bunch of voices in my head, like other ones than usual, that tell me, oh, you need to work on your diploma right now. What are you doing? The time is running out. Why are you painting Gorslav the Gravekeeper when you should be painting Boris von... fuck, where's he from again? Raid. Oh. You know, stuff like that. But that in turn has not helped me really get on with my diploma. Because I feel so stressed out. I don't know. I'm not easily stressed out, but I do feel, right now, I do feel the baseline getting to me. Oh! Hi and How says hello. Hi. Hi. How are you doing? Hi and how are you doing? Hi, how? I love my squigs. Oh, hell yeah. But I can, because back then they weren't as big as now and didn't shit on the community that hard. Fair enough, I guess. I always try to take, like, it's not like I'm, like, trying to sit on a fence or trying to play, like, run defense for Games Workshop. I'm absolutely not. I'm just always trying to look for, like, reasons behind corporate decisions and, like, try to put a more holistic view, like, approach on all of these things. And that's why, you know, I'm not trying to run defense for Mr. Billion-Dollar Corporation. I'm just trying to look for, you know, the reasons. I'm trying to understand our enemy. Okay, that's a little bit weird. How's this work? Good guy Jan being the good guy. Hang on. The only two models I've got painted out of that kit already are the squigs. Perfect. I love my squigs. Hell yeah. Orc always win. Fights, hearts, everything. A little detail work left to do on one of them, but it's just a few highlights after the oil layers are already down. Some curing. Dang. You know, I've never painted a miniature with oil. Like, not really. Here and there for a little bit more of a special effect, but apart from that, I'm really sticking just to my acrylics. But I feel like, especially when it comes to vehicle painting, I should have more of a look into oil paintings, especially for, like, weathering and stuff. May I ask something? Of course. Hi, sorry, I'm just going through the messages in order, that's why I'm only getting to you right now. You feel free to ask anything. Feel free to ask anything. The stream lives and dies by your guys' interactions. I can, you know, play the Hampelmann here and talk to myself like a schizophrenic, but I love just talking to you guys. With you about stuff that you bring up, you know, it's always fun. Alright, next one. I feel like the aesthetic is already coming together quite nicely. For these guys, I haven't actually done like a concept sketch or something, I'm just going with a vibe and a rough vision that I've always had for these guys. A feeling. And I feel like that's the right approach. I love how German always has a very specific word for everything. Oh yeah, definitely. I do not recommend to buy the cockboard. It's a load of damn parts, a lot of work to put together, and it's easy to use for something else. Fair enough. I already thought that. So my immediate reaction was kind of similar. I was like, oh dang, that's a cool model, but god damn, would I not want to build some of those? Like one of those. Way too time consuming for me right now. And you know, money consuming as well. Do need to prepare and save for the move. Not that I'm trying to do something crazy with like furniture or something. I just want to make sure that we have rent covered for the first couple of months. Probably. The guild demon is riding you hard, yeah? Oh, the guild demon. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we call torturous panic. Oh, is that torturous panic though? I thought torturous panic is more like in a general sense, like in more like midlife crisis, right? When you turn like 35 or something. I always interpreted torturous panic as, or when you stand like at a very, you know, at a pathways in terms of a career or something, and you don't know which way to take. You know, I mean, I guess a little bit of torturous panic is involved as well, yeah. I do wonder what I will do after my diploma right now. And since, you know, I do have a lovely fiancé, and I do plan on getting myself, you know, on creating a bunch of miniatures of my own, if you know what I'm saying. Not in recent years, but not soon, by any means, but still. I am wondering on what the best path to move forward is. Holy shit! Duran Björnsson with the 100 Swedish kroners! Holy shit! Well, fancy seeing you here too, man! Non-gold Stormcast always goes super hard. I just dropped in and already loving it. Perfect! Thank you! Thank you so much for that huge donation, man! Thank you very much! Duran! And the chat goes wild! How are you doing, mate? Alright, so many messages today. We're in a great mood. I posted a video. Oh yeah, okay. Perfect. Yeah, we're in Germany. Are pedantic that way? Yeah. Meanwhile, over here it's tomato, tomato. Oh yeah? But English better gets down to what's important. I feel like English is more of a vibe, you know what I'm saying? I do like English just for the vibes. Not that you can't have it in German, but German always feels a little bit more formal, you know? But it doesn't feel as formal as British. And it doesn't feel as informal as like pub English. And then there are all the funny like little dialects and accents in like American, for example, American, Aussie, all that stuff. I really love the English language. Of course you can say, oh, the English language only has 800,000 words and the German language has 5.6 million, stuff like that. But I do just love the general vibe. I always like listening to English. To English people talk. English speakers. Alrighty. Until you start seeing just how many uses do conjugations we have. Whoa, Rise! Hang on, what? You also sent in the super chat? Whoa! Dude, thank you very much. God damn. Holy shit, guys. Thank you for being so generous. I did not expect that. Thank you very much. Holy shit. Okay, now finally to high-end house question. Sorry it took me so long. Hope you're still there. Hang on. Let me get this stuff down. By the way, although these guys do resemble space wolves a little bit, so far, they're not going to be intended to look that way. So, brace yourself. for something hopefully a little bit more on the unique side. And if we're lucky, it'll even look good. Alright, do you know any 40k LARP? I just saw your short about when you were a Wood Elf and just want to ask how many 40k LARPs, and please just call me How. Oh, alright, okay. You want to be speaking to by your last name, I see. Alright, oh my gosh, now I have How and nobody in the chat. That's gonna be fun. Do I know any 40k LARP? Very interesting question. The answer to that is no. Sometimes when I visit like either sci-fi or end time LARP, you know, stuff like that, sometimes there are 40k elements in there, either woven in via the via the organizer, via the host, or via the participants. But I don't actually really know. Hang on, do I though? No, I feel I've never seen a single 40k LARP event, like a proper one. It's always just low-key, sometimes woven into the story and atmosphere of other kinds of LARPs. You know, end time, sci-fi, apocalypse, stuff like that. Unfortunately, I do not. Very cool that you saw that short, though. Glad to see it's still being seen. I guarantee 100% no one will know what I'm working on. Oh yeah? Third guy can only offer pen and paper, not real LARP. A script, I just don't know for what. Oh yeah, that's true. Rice is working on a script of his own. I feel like it has something to do with Warhammer, though. I do have a strong feeling in that direction. And I feel like it might be, it might be about Warhammer lore, because I do remember you asking about that. About what we, in the Discord, what we would want to have in a Warhammer lore video, what we're looking for, or what we're enjoying about it. Hang on, was that another? Okay, no. Hello everyone, good evening. Instant #1 chatter, wait, for real? Oh yeah, holy shit! It's paid to win. Glad I got around to dropping this in the stream this time. Oh man, I'm glad to have you here. I'm chipping in very generous of you, Rice. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to catch you live properly. Did it work out though? Are you gonna continue with your live streaming adventures? I've only been, as you know, I've only been able to drop by either low-key or like lurk in the background. Sorry that it's never really worked out for me to catch you live. But apart from that, how did it work out? Nobody became... Yo, what? You became a member? Hang on. Nice, we get free super chats as paying members. Okay. Interesting, I did not know that. Holy shit. Yeah, member for 6 months. That's actually crazy, dude. Thank you very much. You guys have been so generous. It's actually been crazy. I never thought I'd actually get this far, especially now that... oh, the swing is over. Let's go to some smooth jazz. On. That I think it has to be a little bit louder, more like that. Okay. I never actually did think I'd get this far with the YouTube channel, especially now that I'm not uploading any sort of content anymore, not really. And, knowing, still getting your guys' general support and you guys not getting tired of me is actually a very good feeling. I feel very confident about returning to YouTube in October or November. One of the two. Oh, where's the music go? Oh shit! Ooh. Internet connection. No, don't leave me. What's going on? Oh no. Hello? OBS says everything is fine. YouTube says everything is fine. Uh-oh. What's going on? What? Why is my light flickering? Have I been hit by an EMP or something? Whoa! What? Yo, where'd my light go? Oh no, now I have to get up and you guys will realize that I'm dressed spiffingly up here, but I only wear shorts down there. Oh no. What the hell was that? Oh. Okay. Well, that was weird. Where's my light? Oh, the battery. What? Did you not get enough juice via this thing? Oh no. Do I have a different light? Oh yeah. Okay, sudden maintenance. I did not expect that. For some reason my lamp doesn't get enough juice via the loading table. You seem to be fine with me, Wi-Fi? Okay, thank you. Good to see that you're still there, Steven. Not... Always carry some emergency lighting. Hang on. Ooh. Alright. I did not... I usually try to prepare for the most here. Getting hit by an EMP was not on my list. Whoa. That's not something that we wouldn't be able to work around. Hang on, I've got this. I've got this. Hang on. Oh. I'm not trying to put on a show, this is really just me trying to set this thing up out of the blue. Okay. Now we only have to hope that it wouldn't... that this thing doesn't mess with the frame rate of my camera. Oh. Got an idea. Come on. It should have the same... Ooh. Dismounting that thing. I'll be right back. No, that doesn't work. Damn it. I'm right back. Alright, connecting. Alright. Now I need to connect this thing. Doing my best to come here once per month. Life has been busy. I mean, for me as well, dude. I'm not even here once a month. Jan, second time you jumped over my message. Maybe you got sent, I don't know, but I posted a video in Poland Fun speech. Oh yeah. No, I did see that. I think I acknowledged this as well, no? I mean, we can have a look now. The painting has been completely derailed. Anyways, so why not? So let's see if this works. Aha! Oh yeah. How does it look on the painting? Wow, really? It's that much power and nothing... Really? I thought I'd see a lot more going on here. Maybe we can even disconnect this thing. Hang on. Let's exchange these two. Have a good paint job? Oh no, hang on. Who's that? Go for it, painting. Hi! Still keeping up the traditions of of people coming in here once per stream. Why am I thinking about starting a 40k LARP? I'd be interested to see on how you'd even pull that off though. I feel like there's a good reason why there aren't many. The reason might be because there are not that many LARPers with fitting equipment. Come on. Hang on. Oh my gosh. Alright. Okay. Are we live? Are we back? Let's look at the painting stream. Oh, we are so back. Holy shit. I did not think that this would work this well. Hang on. Let's go completely white again. Turn this a little bit down. And now I can work with the usual lighting again. Hang on. Oh my gosh, all these tables. Alright. I know you can buy 40k LARP weapons, yeah, but those are rather expensive, are they not? I have seen, like, on a regular fantasy LARP, somebody swing like the Inquisitor's hammer from that old 40k game, I don't remember. I think it's even called Inquisitor now. But yeah, alright, hang on. So Matt has posted a video of him jousting. So why not have a look at that? Right now. He put it in Stream Parade, no? No. I guarantee no one will know what I'm working on, says the Rice, presenting this. Oh, presenting this. Alpha Legion Terminator, I'm calling it. Pay to win, baby. Sorry, couldn't hate myself. Nah, that's fine. Damn it, they go ruining as a zealot or death guard. Ah. No, as a zealot, that's completely fine. I've seen some flagellants in like fantasy LARPs. Those are always fun, those guys. First time I've ever successfully done a donation. That feature was always blocked in my country. Really? Guess they've incorporated it properly now? Dang. Well, thank you very much. Again, very generous from you guys. I don't expect to get anything here. It definitely fuels my delusions of grandeur that maybe I can pull this off someday, somehow, when I get back into content creating, you know, a bit more properly. Alrighty. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for... Town spit. Whoa! Dude! Yo! Oh, that goes crazy. Holy shit, dude. Are you for real? That's you! No way. Oh, brother, that looks good. Holy shit. Yo, you're him. Holy shit, I have to go for now. See ya. Alright, Inquisitor, thank you. Jan, you gotta paint one of your knights like Matt now? Oh yeah, that brother's a badass? Oh, he sure is. Dang. I should incorporate you in one of my paintings. God damn, with a broken lance as well. Dang, that looks good. What a great... You look dapper, man. I agree to that. Right, okay. Awesome knight armor. I'm blown away. Like, the armor is one thing. Like, that's great already. But, like, the fidelity in his horse's, like, coat of arms. And, like, dang, and the jousting shield? Dude. I do LARP as an Orc Paladin student. An Orc Paladin student? Alright. Dude. Oh dang, what a nice tent in the back. I'm actually looking to get another tent for me and my fiance. Yeah, very nice. Oh, sweet. Look over here. Yo. Friend of mine was into realistic depictions of Middle Ages as well. That's a super expensive hobby and Corona times has nearly killed it. Yeah, that's true. I do get that. I'm working on a sensor right now for LARP. A sensor? Alright. Chris Faulkner says, agreed, it looks awesome. Yeah. Is Matt even still here, or did he leave? I don't see his messages anymore. Give him a torch. You should be praising the Omnissiah by the name of the Holy Inquisition. I should have done that, yeah. Extra prayer to Omnissiah. Yeah, you're right. Should have done that. The AdMech heard me talking shit. Alright. Yo, even more. Look at that. Look at that. I am there. I have nothing to write, my arm hurts. Right, okay. Fair enough. Jeepers creepers. Dang. Wow. You look proper, my dude. Whoa, and that guy in the background as well. What a nice troop you have there. Holy shit. Who's this? Is this a herald or something? Great look. Amazing. Broken wrist will do that? Yeah. But dang. Alright, let's have a look. Hang on. Where's that? Alright. Got it full screen. That peasant is not mine. That peasant is not yours. Alright. Hang on. Is that also your own horse or is it rented? Ooh, good question. I do feel like it's... good question though. I know of like some people who provide horses like that. Gotta go, kids. Have a great stream. Alright, Chris. See ya. Thanks for stopping by. I'll just quickly... hang on. I'll get the right music out. Oh yeah. You guys done already? Oh yeah. Why is it so quiet? Hang on. I think it's called Onward Bound or something. Ah, there we go. Homeward Bound. Let's go. No, that's the wrong one. This one. Hang on. You ready? Oh, fuck. Oh, look at that. I do have to have the coolest community. There's no way. Holy shit. The way the guy tumbles over. Can I zoom in? There you go. There we go. Like impact. Knight, like lance splintering. And then boom. Very cinematic. Oh, and the fall. Hell yeah. What a spectacle. Amazing. Absolutely well deserved. Nice. Holy shit. Do you know any Warhammer LARPs in the near Denmark? No, but I would recommend. There's this thing called like LARP calendar or something. I don't know how it's called. I need to look that up again. But it's like a LARP calendar with all the events, like LARP events in Germany. And maybe there you will find what you're looking for. But I don't know from the top of my head, unfortunately. Thanks for the footage. Great content. That is great content. Thanks, Matt. Matt is delivering better content than I am. Damn it. Rented. It's Club's Warhorse. That is so cool, dude. That horse is full of energy, used to firearms, cannons, and sometimes he wants to ram the shield walls. That is so cool, like a properly trained warhorse. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Great. Love the Monty Python music? Oh yeah. Back to smooth jazz though. Very nice. Very, very nice. How are you looking for 40k in general, or are you looking for like 40k LARPs in general, or are you looking for like fantasy LARPs as well? Because I do know like some LARP festivals that have like fantasy, Warhammer fantasy in them, like some groups. But yeah, always combine a physical hobby with miniature painting or recovery. Oh yeah. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Matt. That's great. I need to hold my horses. Hell yeah. Old world AOS, I don't care. Alright. I've sent multiple videos for other competitions. Alright. Great. You know, feel free to share. I always love seeing that. That's great. Very great, you know. Very, very nice. There have been a lot of messages that I will just simply skip, I think. Lurk mode engaged. Have a great stream, man. Okay, thanks, Ice Cream. But yeah. Let's do some Divinity soundtrack again. Hang on. Yeah. Alright. Back to the painting. The setup with the other light was a little bit sketchy as well, anyways. Maybe it's for best. It's not easy to paint while riding a horse. Well, if you're looking for like a regular LARP event in Germany that has here and there some 40k, some fantasy aspects, like certain groups, I can recommend the Drachenfest around Diemelstadt. I want to do LARP in any Warhammer world, right? Just Warhammer. Yeah, I don't have, you know, and the only Warhammer LARP that I know of is like the proper Warhammer LARP is in Poland. So maybe you should just Google Warhammer LARP Poland and try to look there. That's the only purely Warhammer, you know, LARP that I know of. Quiet down the music for me a little bit. Then just noticed your Stormcast kinda fits to your Garth theme. Oh yeah, a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah. Well. Shit, you're so right, goddamn. I don't like LARP events much, I want to use steel swords, not foam for nothing. Well, fair enough. I do actually like LARP more, because you don't need to, like, it opens up the hobby to so many more people, because any untrained Luddite can wield a foam sword. However, there are a lot of people that I know that I would never trust with a steel sword in their hand. So yeah. I imagine you'd need a very steady hand. Yeah, jousting and painting? Yeah, sure. Very cool. Hang on, I need to change the mode of the light, though. Hang on. Not bad, that's better. Understandable, but different preferences. Oh yeah. And also different, you know, goals in terms of the hobby, I think. Holy Emperor, it's hot in Denmark right now. Yeah, yeah. It's quite wechselhaft, as we say in Germany. I need full power. The weather has been quite moody these past couple of weeks. Always changing, always shifting. But I feel like now it's starting to calm down a bit and, you know, be a bit more consistent. And consistent means quite warm. Actually, first day I'm wearing short trousers. So there we go. Can you guys even see that? Is it coming across? Well, it's a little bit compromised setup today. I don't know why my light doesn't want to work. Guess I'll have to look into that after the stream is done. Okay, how are we looking? I think that's quite alright. Now we can move on to the ballista itself. I want to pick out the... I was in the gear of all nights. Alright, okay. That's cool. Please do. Always looking for inspirations for either Britonia or just, you know, painting, sketches in general. There we go. This actually requires a little bit more focus than I thought. I did see the messages though. Damn, I can't hang out anymore. My wife wants to watch a movie. Much love from Sweden. I'll keep a closer eye on the Discord and post my painted models on there when I'm back in June. Have a lovely evening. You too, Durin. Thank you very much for stopping by. Thank you very much for your ever ongoing generosity and, you know, just hanging out. It's highly appreciated. Thank you. Have a lovely night, mate. Have a nice night. I wanted to get my girlfriend to watch Pacific Rim with me again. I've seen it a couple of years ago. Like, I've already seen it a couple of times, but, you know, it's a timeless classic. But unfortunately, she has seen the movie once before and didn't like it, so I guess that's that. And now that she's away, I could watch it. Could be a naughty man. Naughty at just watching a movie. What I really want to do though is binge watch a little bit of Love, Death and Robots. Because that's a series that I've always wanted to check out. And I feel like these small episodes are a lot quicker to get through than anything else. It's always funny, sometimes I think like, oh yeah, if I have like an evening to myself, I'll definitely watch, you know, such and such. Like a movie where I know that my girlfriend wouldn't want to watch it with me. And then when I do have like an evening or a night to myself, I always forget which movies I was thinking about. So maybe in the future I should better write a list. Speaking of writing lists, I'm also currently I also currently have a proper, like, what's it called in English? A logbook? A little bit like a diary, but a bit more professional. Where I jot down the progress and my thoughts to my diploma. Like, as the days move on, because I feel like that could be fascinating to look back on. I know how to act as a zealot. May I just try for a second, please? What? Did you get censored or something? This feels like a message that has a part 1 that it didn't get sent to me. Sure. I don't know what that would look like, but yeah. You know how to act like a zealot. A lot of people actually are acting like the zealots nowadays. Quite interesting. Let's keep it neutral. Okay. The small okay. Cracks me up. Alright. When Age of Sigmar came out and they showed like different coat of arms for like different cities, for the cities of Sigmar, I really fell in love with the city of Misthaven, or Misthaven or something. And it's a very similar aesthetic that I want to go for with my own miniatures, though not bar for bar, but rather a little bit more inspired. Just inspired by the design, not, you know, copying it one for one. Which is what I'm a little bit trying here. So again, more of a gloomy, coastal, misty. Misthaven is Nibelheim. Oh, right, okay. Nibelheim in Germany. Really? It is called Nibelheim in Germany? Oh, wow. Didn't think that they'd translate that. Huh. Interesting. There you see how little I know about Age of Sigmar lore. I do want to look more into that. It's very fun to see like online discourse about different characters in Age of Sigmar. And I see the similarities, like in terms of how the discourse is, you know, held. I do see similarities in how people discuss characters in 40k. And I feel like it could be just very, very fun. Should just have a look at that. Especially now that, you know, I just finished reading the first Wall, the Siege of Terra book. And now I kinda do wanna, you know, continue with Warhammer reading, Warhammer literature. But I also feel like I should read something that would inspire me a bit more and get me more into the mood, you know, that's set in a similar setting as my own book that I'm currently writing for my diploma. So more like fantasy. But yeah. Not quite sure how to approach all that. How says... Hang on. Let me voice act that. By the gods' holy light, be gone! You will bleed, demon. For the gods! You will meet my holy hammer. Thank you. It's sure not Misthaven, alright? Yeah, okay, I didn't think so. I didn't think so in German. That's how I imagine the Praise of Sigmar to run into battle. Oh yeah. Posting updates? No, Jan, it's not Alpha Legion, Lamau. Alright. Okay. So I didn't win. Damn it. When you say... yeah. I'll have another look in the Discord very soon. I do really want to take advantage of the fact that I have the room to myself right now. So I really am planning on streaming a little bit longer today. I'm eyeballing 1 to maybe 3 AM. Though, maybe not quite 3 AM, simply because I do, you know, I do want to wake up early tomorrow to get stuff done. You will meet my holy hammer. Oh my. To be fair, Alpha Legion is always a safe bet if you don't know the chapter yet. Yeah. Well, no, well, Rice, are you sure it's not Alpha Legion? I've talking about Warhammer literature and like online discourse, I've seen like one meme about an Alpha Legion novel. I don't know what it's called. I feel like Head of the Drake or something, Head of the Medusa, I'm not quite sure. And people were discussing it in the comments. And they were talking about how convoluted the novel was. And one comment stood out from the others, and it was a guy going, "Oh dang, this is one of my favorite Alpha Legionary novels, but gun to my head, I could not tell you what it's about." And that felt just so real. It's comments like these that make me believe in an alive internet, you know? To be fair, okay. Town speech and coloring workshop, I added some things. Oh yeah, right, okay. I'll have a look. Let me quickly get down the last of the brown tones for the ballista, so we can move on to the next step. Not quite sure what that would look like, but I'm feeling Xandri dust for their cowls. But we'll see. What I want to do though for these guys is no true metallic metals, or only very little if any. So what you're seeing with the armor and the way that I'm already painting the metallics, I'm gonna, you know, if any, I'm gonna do some non-metallic metal action with those. And I also want to have them look a little bit more rugged, a little bit more weathered, if that makes sense. Alright. I thought I had everything, hang on. You meet your gods today, unholy follower. Forward? You know, if you get the chance, try Scale 75's Alchemy metal color range. It's super reminiscent of old metal tips. And fits a used look for fantasy quite nice. Alright, okay. Thanks for the recommendation. I will keep that in mind. I'm intrigued to see if my oil painting that I'm currently doing, you know, oil on canvas for my diploma, if that will have an impact on my miniature painting later on. Like, if I'll switch to oil a little bit more, if I learn certain techniques. Because I've already realized that I do wanna... I will change up the content as soon as I get back to content creating. I do want to change up the content a little bit in the sense that I do want to challenge myself a little bit more. So we'll have the painting guides, of course, but I feel like sometimes I just want to paint some miniatures, you know, as good as I can. Just to show to myself how good I actually am. Or if I'm any good, rather. And yeah, so that's going to be a little bit more interesting. I also have, you know, I'm also currently preparing 2 different series that will appear. So yeah, you guys hang tight. It's only a couple more months until we're back. I also know how to sound like a rat too. Like a rat. Like a skaven. Scamper scary. Greetings, ladies and ladies. Alright. I'm also not doing metallics for mine. Oh, let's go. Taking a small break to play some Cyberpunk 2077. Are you not aware of the meme race? Hank! Hank! Do not abbreviate Cyberpunk, no! Good thing you added the number. Alright, Ballista more or less done as well. I don't know if you were ever on such medieval events. But there's usually a King of Festival, really. I now have a very stupid but cool idea to go there next year as the head of the Inquisition and sit next to the king. That's quite a nice idea. I really want to? Alright, I see. I mean, it is quite a neat idea, yeah, for sure. I don't know about like these historical markets and like reenactment sort of situations. I only really know about LARP events. I don't understand the joke. Oh wait, no, it's just... yeah, okay, bingo. There you go. Alright, anything else that I might have missed? Yeah, go for it. Okay. I think we should continue with Zandri Dust. No, hang on. Now I remember. I wanted to have a look in the Discord. Did you know that Discord was initially supposed to be named Bonfire? Because it was supposed to sound like, you know, cozy and camaraderie-like-ish. Oh, hell yeah. Up. Hell yeah. Look at that. Hang on, I need to zoom out a little bit again. There we go. Oh, great horned red. Yes, yes. Give me your power to win. Yes, win for the horned red. Maybe the music. Maybe the music a bit lower. Do you want it to be the lower? Because I do see it's a little bit loud. Hang on. All right. Where do we have it? There we go. Okay. Better or too quiet now? Always a thing with the music. Alright. Look at that fella over here. I do like the... oh, dang! I didn't even notice that at first. Wow, the rope connecting the shells. Dang, I'm guessing these coat of arms are from the club as well then. Same as the jousting shields to, you know, make for this coherent aesthetic. Would be my guess. Oh, hell yeah. Wow, look at that helmet, dude. Yo. That actually goes so hard. Well, the reflection as well of the shield of the ornaments. Wow. Jan, thanks for the stream. Gotta go now. May jump in later again. Take care, guys. Alright, thank you, nobody. Thanks for staying here for so long. Yeah, have a good night, and maybe we'll see one another later again. Till then, you know, farewell. What else do we have? Oh, wow, dude. Those are some great Bretonnian knights right there. Oh, nice gauntlets as well. I'm guessing that's like proper reenactment armor, so if it's fit for jousting, maybe even like HEMA, so like titanium. Is HEMA titanium? No, it's just steel, right? Cheers, guys. Oh, and Jan, think about an Apocalypse game for next year. Oh yeah, I will. Once I've got everything sorted out, I do have a little bit more planning room for everything. Once the dust has settled after the diploma. Thanks for the invitation, by the way. Have a calm night, brother, says Sir Matt from Pressburg. Oh dang. Oh yeah. Yeah. I know that guy. Dang. Sweet. What a sweet getup. Nice. Very, very cool. Thanks for sharing. HEMA is mostly fabric. Buhurt, if you mean. That's fake steel. Alright, then I mean Buhurt, yeah. I just joined the Discord. Oh, did you really? Let me check. Town Gate. How? Let's go. Welcome to the party. And then we go to Stream Parade. Further improvements. It's not Alpha Legion. It doesn't look like a Raven Guard either. The blue is too cold. It's not one of your homebrewed basilisks as well. I don't know. Rice. Is Rice even still here? Oh yeah. He's just playing Cyberpunk. Coloring Workshop. Ooh, Matt has shown... Oh yes, look at that. Look at that effect on that shield. Jesus Christ, dude. Dang. Nice gate as well. Wow. Oh yeah, those are some nice effects. I do gotta get down more my non-metallic metals. I only do that in like paintings and sketches. I never do it in like on my miniatures. At least not, you know, this properly. I'm having a rather annoying thing with Cyberpunk. Oh yeah, really? Oh yeah. Dang. That is so cool. I do want to share some... Oops. I do want to share some pictures of the battles that I saw in Warhammer World. Like, not the dioramas, but like the organic battles that happened in like the hall where people could just meet up. But I think I'll do that on a later date. So cool though. Is this like... This is more time, right? This is not your, this is not an, like, Age of Sigmar battlefield or something, right? The cops are attacking me literally for no reason. Oh no. Did you pick the wrong skin? Or your character? I don't attack or aim weapons at me, but they just still go for me for some reason. I don't know what is going on. Huh. Do you have your weapon drawn or something? Or do you have, like, an attachment that's currently, like... I don't know, being threatening or something? I don't know. I don't know how Cyberpunk works. And of course, lecture theater. Very nice, very nice. Well, couldn't have said it better myself. That's very nice. I can send a picture of the sensor in the Discord if you want. I still don't know what that is, though. What do you mean by sensor? I'm seeing that word for the first time. But yeah, sure. Go for it. Painting stream. There we go. Okay, let's just It happened after I visited the Voodoo Boys Ripper dock. Huh. Don't know, man. That is built for more time, but some dude is just bringing their whatever minis, what drives me crazy. Oh, what? Huh. Yeah, that's not so nice. Actually, a very funny thing happened. I don't know if I already talked about that. I don't think so, because it's been rather recent. Right now, when I'm about to move out of this, like, small town, like, it's a very, like, it's actually a village. Right now that I'm trying to move out, a third-party Warhammer retailer has opened, like, across the street from me. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's like a proper tabletop club with, like, Warhammer boards and, like, open game nights and painting days and everything. And he's just got his license to, yeah, like, sell Warhammer products as well. Like, I actually can't believe how bad the timing is for me in that regard. Okay. Next up is some Xandri dust. Do we start with Steel Legion? No. No. I want to start with Xandri dust. I can layer in some. Where should I send it? Well, depends. During stream, the channel Stream Parade is always a good bet. Because that's the channel for people who want to show me stuff during a live stream. Like, you know, anything they talk about, basically, we talk about here. So that's probably the best. And if you put it in the wrong channel, I'll just straight up ban you. Just kidding. So far, I only had to ban one person from this channel in general, and that's years ago. And that's only because he wouldn't stop spouting crazy stuff, getting off topic, getting political, and worst of all, insulting my girlfriend. That was bad. Can't have that. I obliterated the guy. He's still lurking in the shadows, though. With the second account. I did see that. I actually remember that. Oh yeah, yeah. That long, right? Okay, how I suppose. Yeah. As we say in Germany, life is not a pony stable. Das Leben ist kein Ponyhof. Das Leben ist kein Wunschkonzert. Alright, I'll have a look now. Damn, how fucking long have I been around here? Yeah, you've actually been around here for quite some time. I think you told me in one of the more recent streams that you've joined this channel via the video of the Terminator that I painted, the Death Guard Terminator. The 10,000 Years of Corruption video. Pretty sure that was it. Ah, there we go. Wow. Dang. That's legal? There we go. the droplets of hot glue right on the lemonade. Fuck yeah. Alright. And that works. That works out. Dang. Quite impressive. Did you see my message? Oh yeah, there it is. Hang on. Alright, Tonefog, I have to go. I have some rest after 2 days wearing armor in 36 degrees Celsius direct in the sun. Have a nice weekend. See you all next time. Alright, Matt. Thanks for reminding me. I completely moved past that. Sorry. Alright, man. Have a nice weekend yourself. Thanks for checking in and, you know, for everything, basically. Especially sharing those pictures of yourself and your mates in armor. That was quite fun. So, yeah. Have a nice evening. See you next time. I hope I'll be able to stream a little bit more soon. I don't know. So far, the only thing I can promise is like once a month. Anything more than that will be rather spontaneous. But I'll keep you up to date on the Discord. What is that? That is a good question. It looks like a flail of some sort. It looks like a LARP-worthy, like the thing that the Goblin Fanatics have in Warhammer Fantasy. Am I correct? Send a notification when you will stream next time to Discord, yeah? Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll ping it at everyone. I'll use the God-given powers, the Emperor-given powers, to ping all of you. Alright, interesting. Goblins? Yeah. The goblins of Warhammer Fantasy. Don't you remember the Fanatics? The guy with the twirly-whirly Goblin Slayer theme starts to play. I see. Alright. Painting stream. Thanks for sharing. That's interesting. I only tried building something for a LARP event one time. My shield, actually. And I myself didn't get very far. It would break constantly under pressure. Which, you know, a shield has to go through quite a lot of pressure. And sudden impacts. So, yeah, it was only after the help of a professional craftsman on one of those LARP events that I finally got a somewhat stable version of that shield. So that's why I'm already a little bit skeptical seeing, you know, your sensor there. But I hope it works out, you know, this is not coming from a place of envy or something. But really just bewilderment that your sensor appears to work out as good as it does. My friend, also named Jan, nice, great name, did an orc cosplay for Comic-Con this year. Oh, like a 40k orc or something? That's cool. That's neat. Orc cosplayers, or like rather orc LARPers, are some of the most dedicated people that I've ever known. However, I've also made the experience, and that I don't mean this in like a demeaning way, but I've also made the experience that these people will behave like orcs even out of character. A little bit, you know, a little bit rough. A little bit, how do you call it? Indecent. Not that I take too much offense to that, but just an observation, just an observation. Hey, I'm an orc club, yeah, let's go. I sent a pic of what it is in the Discord. Oh, right, okay, I'll check that out. The lighting today is anything but good. I do apologize for that. However, if I've learned anything about these kind of streams, it's that the most important part is the audio. And I hope, you know, as long as that's okay, I feel like the visuals are really just a little bit, you know, secondary. At least in my experience. I don't catch many lives, though. I only listen to the VODs after the fact. Feel like maybe I should have done the Steel Legion drab beforehand, though I do still believe that we're going to be able to darken that down later on. Okay. And there's gonna be one more thing. Send, enjoy. Alright. Alright. Hang on. Oh, yeah, okay. Alright, I got it. Whoops, wrong one. Sensor, bingo, that kind of thing. What's it called in German? Like Weihrauch Schwenker or something? I'm not sure. But yeah, I feel like I get it. Yeah, incense. Oh right, it's in. Yeah. Okay. Bingo. There we go. Elio's back. Hey man. Glad you made it back. Just don't pull up his profile page directly. I want to avoid looking at Max at all costs. Fair enough. Hang on. Where did you put it? Where'd you put it? What? Send, enjoy? What? Where'd you send it? Did you send it via Instagram or something? Don't see it in the Discord. Let's keep painting a little bit. Rather, the one act of a little bit of voice acting earlier on the stream seems to have a little bit... I seem to have behaved a little bit reckless with my voice. Now it's a little bit more gruff. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Alright. I've missed this. You know, streaming, painting miniatures, talking with and to you guys. I do hope that I'll be able to find my way back to YouTube once the diploma is done. It will be a little bit more of a slow process, however, I do have a plan on how to keep a constant flow of content going. It will require a lot of work. I hope I'll be able to pull that off. But yeah, you know, I do have high hopes. Yes, Insta? Alright, I'll have a look then. But I want to keep painting a little bit first. So, what have I been doing apart from working on my diploma? Well, I have actually, you know, I have actually tried to secure a place at another university to do some sort of, you know, secondary course of study. What would you call it? More advanced course of study. To become an art teacher, to get the certificate to teach art at a school. And like a proper school, not like not just like a private institution, but like a proper state school. That's what I've been doing. The process has been, you know, paired with, of course, a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of asking around, what would be the best step. And of course I try to find a way that I don't need to study that much more after that, because I didn't want to do a full course, you know, another course of study right after this one. I even talked to my parents about that I was adamant against studying for another 5 years or so. And yeah, so I've been going around asking different universities, you know, hey, I've studied here, would you be able to, you know, see some of my work that I've already done and count it towards this other degree and stuff like that. And I've had a very interesting discussion with one of the universities, where basically they said to me, oh yeah, we will have a look, but however, first you need to be part of this university. You need to my gosh, the English words today. You need to pass some sort of entry exam, which I didn't really have time for, which is why I, you know, specifically made an specifically posed the question of maybe skipping that, because I did study art for 4 years now, so you'd think I'd pass any entry-level exam. I just didn't want to put the time into that. And so I waltzed up to her office to a agreed time. First of all, she wasn't there, which was really bad, because I did have a lot of meetings that day, rather tightly packed. And I had to remind myself, oh yeah, these people are all artists. Of course they're gonna be not on time, damn it. But the most interesting part was during that discussion when she looked over my pictures to determine if I'm worthy of their university. She asked, you know, she asked me, oh yeah, what did you do more recently? Because we went over some old pictures of mine. She asked, what did you do more recently? And I was like, oh yeah, I did these pictures for my diploma. And I showed her some sketches and stuff like that. And she said, like, oh yeah, what's your diploma? Oh yeah, I'm writing a book, you know, and painting these pictures. And she was like, Did you do anything of the? Did you use AI for that? And I was like, that question took me completely by surprise. Oh, Team thanks, yeah. Alright, see ya, man. Thanks for sticking around for so long. That question took me completely by surprise. Like, what do you mean with AI? For my diploma? And so I gave it just a bewildered look. And I was like, no, of course not. What? For my diploma? Of course not. And then she pointed to one of my pictures, which, you know, I tried to have a little bit more of a dynamic fisheye lens to the pictures to have them be a bit more fun, you know? And she was like, yeah, well, how would you get this perspective otherwise? And I just looked at her with even more utter bewilderment. And I shit you not, I told her word for word, I got this perspective through practice? What do you mean? You know? Like, what did she mean by that question? I've been studying, like, illustration for 4 years. Wouldn't you think that after 4 years of current, you know, practice, you'd be able to whip up some interesting perspectives? What do you mean? And then we just sat there and sat there in silence for like 5 seconds until she moved on with like different questions. That was crazy. That was weird. Getting asked, like, did you use AI? And I still don't know, because she didn't ask it in like a, necessarily in a, accusatory tone. So I really don't know what she meant by that question. Guys, which animal toys can fit into Savage Orcs cavalry and army? No boars. Animal toys. Dinosaur. T-Rex, you know, a nice Schleich T-Rex. And I should have used Steel Legion Trap, damn it. Okay. A little bit of a convoluted story. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit rusted when it comes to storytelling. But yeah, that was wild. But yeah, thankfully I could make a good enough impression on her that she let me skip the entry exam, and now there's a different thing in progress right now to go over everything that I did at this old university, at my current university, to hopefully not have to study as much again. Especially not in the practical sense, right? I don't need sketching 101 in my modules. Like, sorry, I kind of feel like I know how to sketch. Oh, the music stopped, sorry. Hang on. Oh no, it didn't. What? I'm going bloody mad by making the sensor. Yeah. So, what? Orc music, I like it. It's a reference to Rick and Morty human music. Orc music, what? I haven't seen Rick and Morty, actually. The only Rick and Morty stuff that I know is via YouTube Shorts. I don't know how YouTube actually gets away with that, you know? Some people are actually just posting entire series via YouTube Shorts. I'm pretty sure I've watched pretty much most of Peaky Blinders via YouTube Shorts. Such a great series to be watching via this shit medium. But at the same time, you know, it's kind of nice to be able to somewhat, you know, be able to talk with it. Like when people talk about Peaky Blinders, I kind of know what they mean. I kind of know the characters. What a shame. Do we have any The Boys fan in chat right now? And if so, what did you think about the finale? Did you like it? It's very interesting reading like comments on the Boys finale, because a lot of people are bringing up very like interesting points, and the director himself said, you know, if you don't stick the landing, people will judge the show retroactively, and I feel like that's pretty much happened right now, which, you know, is very much understandable. As a Game of Thrones enjoyer myself, I know where these people are coming from. But some people really just straight up did not understand the show. Like, some criticism I've read, especially, you know, in how they handled Homelander in the finale, like in the very, very last episode. I was like, hey guys, did you, like, not get the character at all? What do you mean? It was shit, simple as. Fair enough, yeah. Oi, oi, oi. The series finale was fucking shit. Written by fucking cunts. I don't make a good Butcher impression, do I? Yeah. That finale was rough. Great acting though. You know, in the entire series, the acting was peak, especially Anthony Starr. Loved that. The Boys was kinda meh from the start. Really? You think so? I disagree. I feel like it was something new. I feel like that made it exciting from the get-go. I liked the premise. Like, the premise didn't actually catch me that much. But I did like, you know, the acting definitely pulled everything very nicely together. Especially Anthony Starr as Homelander. He carried that series, holy shit. Not that the other actors were bad. But, you know, the way that he portrayed the main antagonist, really, I think, was the main thing keeping people around. And especially, I think season 4 was it, where he went a little bit more crazy. Was great. Great acting from him, and great bloke even behind the scenes. So yeah, hope he gets some better deals, some better roles out of that one. Season 1 to 2 was good, 3 was mediocre, then just fell off past 4. The acting carried the poor writing, ain't that the truth nuke of the day? Yeah, that's true. It's very interesting to see, you know, as the writer said, the people will judge the show retroactively from the finish, from the finale. And, you know, that has very much happened now. And it's very interesting to see how, you know, how, let's say, mediocre a lot of the writing actually was, now that the finale didn't do anything with it, right? Yeah. They completely fumbled the landing, which is very unfortunate. To be fair though, when it comes to The Boys, I have only really seen the first season, and after that, much as with Peaky Blinders, have only seen like highlights and scenes that people discussed online. So of course, you know, the scene where Homelander goes back to, you know, the team of doctors that, you know, engineered him basically, and you know, came to make them pay the bill. That was very cool. I really liked that scene. He was very unhinged that season, and I really liked him for that. Though, yeah, the rest was a little bit rough around the edges. I'm almost done with the sensor. I sent how it looks on the Discord. Only look if you want to. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'll have a look. I'll have a look a little bit later. I need to carry on a little bit more with the painting, because otherwise I don't think I'm gonna get much done today. Which would be a shame. Hang on. I feel like Like the camera's wrong. Not to mention the borderline false advertising. That was actually crazy. Yeah, the way they advertised it versus what they delivered. That is borderline criminal. That is true. Dang, dude. That was insane. Yeah. Scorched earth my arse. Yeah. Oh, look, it's so much better now. Bingo. Yeah. No, 100%. My back is hurting? Oh no. My girlfriend would say you need to do more, my fiancé, sorry, would say that you need to do more exercise then. Just, you know, I'm just the messenger here. Anytime I complain about anything, yeah, bro, I've been taking like dancing lessons together with my girlfriend, you know, like standard dances like waltz and disco fox, but also like rock and roll dancing. And I've just realized how badly exercised my knees are. So we've actually had to take a break because my knee pain has gotten that bad. And because all I do now at home is complain about knee pain and, you know, losing my hair, I'm already getting like advertisements for old people. Like fucking senior citizens advertisement I'm getting. Like, oh yeah, this you know, newest pharmaceutical breakthrough from Ratio Farm, and it shows like only seniors, and I'm just like, dude, what? What kind of targeted advertisement is this? Disgraceful. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, the darker colors, I think, are the better base. Alright, gotta repaint this one while I'm at it. Ah yes, I go outside every day. Let me go more outside then. Well. But yeah, back to the boys, the way that they're advertised. I feel like the director just went rogue, honestly. The director and scriptwriter, like, what's his name? Kripke or something? Very funny German name, like East German name. Kripke. It's like a little bit of a meme name over here, not gonna lie. But yeah, I feel like he went a little bit rogue in the end. And it's kind of poetic how the series just now became a parody of itself. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna make a parody about superheroes and like the cult around them and the way how they ruin their movies to always be setting up more spin-offs and sequels and stuff like that. And now they ruined the finale because they already focused on Vault Rising. Like, what? And that series like Gen V, right? I didn't even know that Gen V was a thing. I thought those were just like adjacent scenes from The Boys when it came up. Like, hearing that there's already a spin-off series to The Boys was also quite surreal. But yeah. To you, how I can very much relate to the back pain though. I don't have it nowadays as much anymore. Because I don't get time to sit down and hunch over Warhammer miniatures as I usually am. Sorry, let me just fix that right now, actually. So I don't have it as much anymore. But yeah, back in the day, oh my gosh. This lingering, you know, dull pain around the Steißbein. I don't know the English name, unfortunately. It doesn't want to go away. Ah, gosh. Lay a bit on your stomach. That would be my recommendation. That usually works for me. Go to somebody to treat you like a rave light, you know, those lights that you click in the middle. So to make them glow, a glow stick. The common defense I see from stands is that this isn't Marvel, why would you want a big Avengers Endgame fight, lol idiot. The idiot part always follows, really? That is actually one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Like the quote. This isn't Marvel, why would you want a big Avengers Endgame fight? Like, brother, any action movie has a big fight against the boss. Any action, anything, right? Like the Middle Ages had their knights fight dragons. What do you mean? That is pure copium. I do get, like, from how the fight ended, I get why they did it that way. To just really showcase AFK shower. Alright, man. You're doing better than me then. From how they portrayed Homelander in the end, I do get the vision. And I do feel like it suits the character very, very well. And it's a fitting end for him. But the way they got there was so lazy, so uninspired, and so weird in terms of power scaling and stuff. It's actually crazy. That is like the approach that I take to the boys. And especially all the plot lines that they just, you know, resolved with bad writing. Bruh. So weird. Well, time to make the thing at the end. I'm going to do my own thing. I don't want balls at the end. That's what she said. Typical internet, you aren't allowed to criticize anything. Well, either you are allowed. Yeah, well, isn't it like the other way around mostly? Like you aren't allowed to like anything. But yeah, I don't know, bro. But yeah, that defense that you just quoted is just pure copium, holy shit. That's pure unrefined copium. But you know, maybe Vought Rising will actually be goated. Could be. I mean, House of Dragon was very good, even after the bad Game of Thrones finale. Though I don't know if they changed directors or not. Didn't look into that. Dang, I paint like an amateur. Do you see this? Paint is not thin at all. Dang, I really am losing my edge here. I need to keep edging. What? Someone made an AI video with Butcher flying around and fighting Homelander with dragon tentacles. And was more entertaining. I genuinely felt more entertained by AI, what the fuck. Yeah, I did see a little bit of that AI video as well, yeah. It's a little bit... I heard the comments... You know, now that AI is getting more and more prevalent, and that more and more, even the creative space, people are being replaced. Like, some people... As an artist, this might feel like a backstab to some people, but as an artist, I feel like some people actually fucking deserve it. Like, so uninspired crap, a run-of-the-mill, you know, bad anything that they're doing in any industry, any artistic industry. Sorry, if you suck that bad that people are more entertained by AI than by your creation, then you deserve to lose your job. I'm sorry to say, you know. As the saying goes, you don't have to outrun the bear. You only have to outrun the slowest person. I feel like good artists will still get, you know, be able to make money and get recognition for their work. And the bad artists just have to, I don't know. Just saying, you know, I'm being very realistic about it myself as well. If people would, I do a little art, oh yeah, that's nice. But as an artist myself, and as a guy who tries to do it like professionally, and who actually like tries to build himself a career, if people are less entertained by my stuff than they are by like AI art, then I deserve to not like be successful. I'm being like quite realistic about that. I still hate that AI is being trained with the work of other artists that do not get paid for that. That's still a bad thing. But AI replacing artists that are just like bad to mediocre, I'm sorry. Like, we gotta be real. If AI would replace me, not that I work anywhere where I could be replaced, it is what it is, like. Like I did my profile? Oh yeah. Can I see that, by the way? Can I... Hans? No, I can't. I can only make you moderator. I'm not gonna do that. Okay. Good luck with your sensor, man. Are you planning on having that, like, just as a prop? Or an actual, like, LARP weapon? Because then I once again would cautiously, you know, question the integrity of, like, the structural stability of your work. Cautiously. I actually missed some spots here. Where's my Rhinox hide? There it is. Not gonna lie, I'm already running a little bit out of steam. It's only been 2:20. Damn. Alright. It's not a weapon, luckily? Okay, okay. Well, then it's not too bad. I mean, not too, you know. Then you don't need to worry about that, thankfully. My LARP shield actually had to withstand quite some rough treatment, because again, it is a shield, right? It's a piece of foam that I put between me and the enemy to take the hit instead of my body. Yeah. But it actually has served me now rather well. Who would have thought that a professional craftsman would be able to put out better work than me? An untrained layman. Well. Oh, wait. You know what series I'm actually looking forward to? The 40k series with Henry Cavill. I'm so intrigued. It's not like I'm waiting every day on bated breath if there's new news or something. I'm not checking for that. But at this point, if anything would come out, no matter how bad, for example, it would be, you know, being cautious here, it'd still be surreal to see a proper 40k series, like live action. Dang, how far we've come. From a game with plastic minifigures to the mainstream. I just use 2 weapons because I feel like it. Alright, okay. That's nice. I use sword and shield. I'm the classic human knight in any fantasy game, you know? Sword, shield, heavy armor, frontline. That's where you can find me. It's kind of funny because I started LARPing. You know, when I started LARPing, I was like, I wouldn't want to be in this, you know, claustrophobic frontline fights with lots of pushing and pulling and all these pole arms and stuff. And now I couldn't imagine being anywhere else. Though, to be fair, now I have, you know, built my entire armor set around that specific placement. I couldn't, you know, lug around 20 kilos of steel plus weapons as a scout. Wouldn't want to do that. I was a scout for the elves on this elven LARP where How saw the short from. There I was the only one with a proper steel chainmail instead of a aluminum one, which I found out in the very last on the very last day. People were like, "Oh yeah, you know, like I'm so glad I have this aluminum chainmail. Otherwise, I couldn't imagine running around all day." And I'm just like, "You what? What? What do you mean aluminum?" Yeah, of course, aluminum. Like, how else? Like, dude, my chainmail is completely steel, and we were like in the same unit, so I had to do the same amount of like sprinting and jumping over walls and shit that he did. And he just looked at me like, "Bro, what? What does your chainmail weigh? Mine weighs like 3 to 4 kilos." And I was like, "Yeah, my chainmail weighs 12, 12 kilos." And now I got why I was so winded all the time, where all my mates seem to be, you know, seem to have a potion of regeneration in their pockets. Alright, okay. Let's quickly. You see me in the backline giving orders? Oh hell yeah. Based. What do we do with the pauldrons? Do we leave them like that? I feel like we should leave them. Makes for a nicer silhouette. Okay. What do we do with the armor, though? I feel like we should do shading first. In that case, let me get some XV88, the great Tau color, and paint some highlights that will later be gold. On that notion, I'll actually fill up my water to lubricate my voice a little bit. I'll be right back.
Come to me, the night is dark. Come to me, the night is long. Sing for me, I'll sing along. Sing for me, oh sing for me.
There we go.
Come to me, the night is dark. Come to me, the night
Fourth in command, baby. Let's go.
is me, I'll sing along.
Well, I'm first in command. At least for my unit. I even led the entire camp, like an army of like 150 men. I led them once. One day, I was actually commander-in-chief, like next to our overall camp commander. That was quite exciting. Though I was a little bit young, and although that should have been well known by then, a lot of people just were like, who the hell are you? Why should I take orders from you? And I'm just like, guys, didn't you get the memo? I'm commander-in-chief, now get up, gear up and let's get out of here. Let's smash some heads in. What do you mean? Yeah, that was quite weird. Definitely did not help my confidence at all that people were constantly questioning my authority. For me, fourth in command in the faction, that's cool. Yeah, but for me it heavily differs. So, in my own squadron, I am first in command. I've been first in command for like 12 years now. But for my overall faction, it heavily differs from year to year. Because it's always up to a vote, basically. And after the vote, it's a like necessity-based thingy. Cyberpunk just broke bad? Oh no. Super broken? What do you mean? Why does the guy have like... Is this guy supposed to have like a map? Because now I'm just realizing he's got one of these like... these thingies as well. I don't know where that's from. And it should probably better be silver. Well, reverting to an autosave? Ah, damn it. We need warmer... Elio says... we need warmer fantasy orcs and goblins new models. The thing is with the orcs, right? The orcs are so iconic, I feel like. I mean, all the fantasy models are. But I feel like especially the orcs are just so iconic. And they aged quite well, actually, I feel like. So I don't know if we actually do need new models or not. Maybe I should do silver. Maybe that would be better. And for that I need some... Oh yeah, baby. I need some Thunderhawk blue. Do we have that? We have that. Because I was the first player that joined the faction. By the way, the city guard. What? Your faction is the city guard. All right. Some nice guard action. The last two guard duties that I took over actually were a disaster. Both times the camp got unfortunately wrecked. One time because I didn't pay attention because my responsibilities were stretched too thin, and a bunch of my comrades didn't arrive in time for like changing of the guards. So in the brief moment that we were understocked, one of our, allied armies passed the gate and I didn't pay attention. And I was just talking with a diplomat basically, going, all right, did we have any changes in like alliances or something? And he told me, no, everything is normal. I was, okay. And I turn around and I just see 200 people storming at me. Like, I stood in the open gate and like an army of people storming down the hill. Like, people that I thought to be my allies. And they just, like knocked me over. I was like, okay, there's no way I get the gate closed down. I yelled to the one person with me, like, close the gate. I charged against them, so for a brief moment, it looked fucking epic. And then I just got smashed to bits, and the camp fell in one fell swoop. That was actually quite bad. I felt very bad about that. Because obviously it was my responsibility to guard the gate. But, you know, external circumstances, you know, helped mitigate the blame, thankfully. And I tried to make it good with even deeper devotion to the cause, which thankfully was appreciated. And the second time, it was a normal guard duty. I was fully prepared because I did learn from the first time. But unfortunately, we had to just basically surrender. We had to surrender the gate because the entire camp was basically not there. There was nobody else to defend us. And it was just basically the guard, so 5 people at the gate. And a handful of people in the back. And yeah, that against like 400 people? No way. So we came to the conclusion that instead of a long drawn-out siege where the entire gate gets smashed, we just open the gate on command and fight the enemy head-on. Again, quite noble, I think, because nobody likes a long siege. But unfortunately, also another loss that that I can add to my tally of miserable guard duties. Or rather, guard duties gone wrong. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Maybe I just shouldn't guard the gate. Oh, Panzer is back. Let's go. He's been back for a long time. Just didn't acknowledge it. Sorry. We got loot last time we played. There's this... where's this fine meme? This... Feel like that meme? Yeah. We don't get paid most of the time. Yeah. Me neither. Any baker during any LARP event earns in one in one morning earns more than I do as a knight/soldier in like 500 years of service. Like, actually tallied up, I'm pretty sure I couldn't earn as much in like 100 years as a simple baker during a LARP event in one day. What I'm doing right now, by the way, is I'm painting an undercoat of like a light grayish blue, Thunderhawk blue, over all the bits and pieces that I want to be non-metallic silver. And because I want everything to be a bit more cold, you know, to reflect Misthaven. Or Nebelheim. You know, I want it to be a bit more foggy looking already. Foggy and cold. Immediately I have an idea. Orcs versus the post-apocalyptic humans, which is Stalker and the Gasland. That sounds great. I did play a bit of Stalker. I really liked the game. I liked the game until I realized that the game loop had basically become, you know, the same thing over and over, and it just became grindy. That's when I stopped. That's when I was like, okay. Because there are like 2 sorts of grinds. I do like grinding different things for different things during different steps, if that makes sense. But if the loop is always the same, you always go to the same location, hope for the drop, then get back home, replenish, get back out there and stuff like that, and you don't encounter any other enemies than the ones you're grinding. Yeah, then it's time to quit the game for me. Because I can't be bothered. My time literally is too precious not to hold myself in too high regard. But yeah, that's a no-go. Oh, let's go. Francois, Marion is here as well. Oh 07. Oh 07, back to you, mate. How are you doing? It's been a long, long time. I think it's been 2 months since the last stream. There we go. Painting the sextant that the guy has for some reason. What else could I tell you guys? Is anything... Like, it's been so long that I don't actually know what happened during all this time. Emma faction is for the most of the time right now fighting undead. The undernumbered city guard fight the undead. I mean, that's cool. I like that. I haven't really been fighting undead characters much during the LARPs that I went. However, one time I did get assassinated. A crazy way to start a story, I know. One time I got assassinated during an errand run, basically. Holy errand run, though, so quite the sacrilege to kill me. And, oh no, he wrote some other. We're just recovering after yesterday's 5k game of Elder versus Necrons. Holy shit. Just 2 players, or was it an alliance fight? 5k? Dude. Are you on the Discord? And if so, if you would, if you wanna, please feel free to share some pictures of that game. That surely has to look awesome, dude. 5k, my god. AKA the faction with the most people. Oh no, I get that. But again, I didn't fight any undead, or many undead. But I once got turned into an undead because the necromancer of the group, which ambushed and assassinated me, felt quite bad for the behavior of her people, basically. So she turned me into an undead. she bound my spirit back into my corpse to basically talk to me, tell her how how sorry she was for what her mates did to me. And then she let my corpse basically walk back to camp and then be exercised there. That was quite fun, actually. It was the very brief moment that me and Theinrich was with me too. The brief moments that we were zombies. Peak LARP. Unfortunately, after we got exercised, Theinrich couldn't keep his mouth shut in front of the Inquisition, so we had to get extra exercised. So, that was fun. Gold or silver? Yeah, silver. I feel like undead factions, especially in LARP events, for example the Conquest of Mythodea, or Mythodea, I don't know how to pronounce it in English, the biggest LARP event in the world features a huge faction called the Undead Flesh, which is a huge horde of just zombies basically, but zombies in armor. Semi-sentient, I would say. Those guys are like, they look spiffing, they look great. I love the fact how customizable they are and still look uniform, you know? So if I ever want to play a bad guy in a horde, I think I'd play an undead character. Sure, why not? Dirty clothes, a little bit of blood and gore. Who wrote me? Was it the love of my life? It was. Hang on. I'm about to quickly write it back. Just telling her that I can't really hold a conversation right now. Oh. Oh gosh, sorry, hang on. Need to turn the noises off. Hang on. Listen guys, I love you and I love streaming, but my fiance always comes first. My gosh. I love being in a futuristic setting and just driving an AC Cobra. Oh hell yeah. Well, some settings do get when humanity has peaked, right? We don't have an Inquisition in the LARP I'm in, but something like it, we work for them. Oh, really? What did I miss? Not much, not much. Just been painting along. What you see here is basically what we achieved. And I just answered a couple of messages that my girlfriend sent. Alright. It's a pointy brush. Gotta be honest, guys, we are approaching, we've got it almost 11:15 PM. And I'm running a little bit out of steam here, so it could be that I'm only able to get to 1 AM today. I do want to get to 1 AM. It's a simple question of pride for me. But maybe not 3 AM as I was just, musing over when we started. That's fine. One other story that I can tell from the latest LARP event that we went to last year was we slept in a tent that I had bought secondhand off eBay, and we've used it for a couple of times, so I did make back on my investment, thankfully. However, the tent was always a little bit shit, It was quite dirty, a little bit moldy. I had to spend quite a lot of time sewing stuff up, stuff like that. And of course, impregnating. No, not like you think, but impregnating against water, making it water resistant. And I thought I did a good job, but apparently the tent was so badly damaged that there were still some spots where water seeped through during rainfall, which isn't optimal, but I thought it was manageable. So I woke up during the night, during the LARP event, right before we had early morning guard duty. I woke up at around, 2-3 AM or something. And I heard just the rain hitting the tent, and I heard a drip of water on wood, droplets, single droplets. And I was like, damn, okay, that doesn't sound too good. But I was very tired and everything was dark, so I didn't want to check out for myself. And I thought, okay, whatever it's hitting, it can't be too bad. Well, morning came, I woke up, and I realized what that sound was. That was the sound of water droplets seeping through the tents and dripping into my chest. Yes, into. Because for some reason, I decided to leave my brain on the battlefield that day and leave my chest open, vulnerable to the water droplets that now collected in my clothing. And worse than that, not only my clothing, but my fiance's clothing as well. So we basically had to wake up during a very cold morning where it was 6 degrees, leave our cozy sleeping bags to head to guard duty, which started at 4 or 5 in the morning, and all of our clothing was wet and damp, or rather most of our clothing. Thankfully I did have one leather tunic, one leather shirt, which stopped it halfway through, at least that, so some was dry, but a lot was very, very cold, and that was definitely a miserable start into the day. Well, at least you didn't need to shower. Oh my gosh. Oh man, that was cold. I did have some cold mornings during my LARPing days. Sorry, just throw a joke in again. Oh, feel free, dude. I'm a streamer. I am the jester. You can throw apples at me whenever you want. As long as they are directed at me and not my, you know, fiancé. Everything's good. Everything's good. No, for sure, I can take a joke. No reason to apologize. Okay, what do we have here? Synthwave, shillwave. Shall we try that for music for a change? What's that? That's not shillwave. Crazy. A little bit of jazz. Hey. Back to the classics. Okay. Okay. How's it look? I feel like overall the vision is getting clearer. I don't quite know what I want to do with the armor, but the vision itself is getting clearer. Yes, there are some details that I'm yet to address, but apart from that, it's going rather well, I think. Anything else? No, not with this color, I don't think. So we can move on to the other guy. In terms of LARP, it's been a long time that I've been LARPing. I only really go LARPing once a year, and always to the same con. I'm very glad that my fiancé actually likes it as much as I do, because she didn't know what LARPing was when we met. So I can really be glad that she, you know, turned to like it. And when I'm not LARPing, I actually think there's one game in this world where the gameplay is like the closest to LARPing, and that is actually fucking Todd Howard's masterpiece, Skyrim. And I recently picked up another game. I never actually finished the game, so that's what I'm trying to do in the little bit of free time that I do have. You should try to finish the game for the first time. And yeah, the feeling that you have there, especially in survival mode, I really only play the game in survival mode because I just like it best that way. I feel it's a lot more immersive. Yeah, I feel like that's the closest to a LARP feeling that you can get. The atmosphere very much carries that game. You know, it's beautifully done, beautiful art style, beautiful render, great atmosphere, lovely music, of course. And yeah, I'll never forget when I started the game for the first time, which was when I was like, I don't know, 16 or so. So the game was well out by then. I borrowed a copy from one of my friends to play on the PS3, I think, or something? PS2 maybe? No, PS3. And yeah, I very much remember booting up the game and thinking to myself, damn, it's just like LARP. It just works 4 times the map size, 13 times the details of Fallout 4. Great. Todd Howard. Isn't it crazy that the Elder Scrolls trailer is like 10 years old now? Or 15 or something? Like the Elder Scrolls 6 trailer. Amazing. I think Todd should have just embraced the meme and re-released the trailer a second time. After 10 years, you know? He re-released Skyrim 100 times, so why not re-release the trailer for the Elder Scrolls 6 as well. Also, I'm shushing the stream for a few minutes while I do a side quest, BRB. Oh yeah, definitely, no problem, mate. If I had a little bit more gas, I could talk like a radio host, so you could feel like I'm actually coming from in-game. Fortunately, that's not as possible with fantasy miniatures. Well, commenting on fantasy miniatures, that is. There we go. The lantern isn't supposed to be silver, I don't think. So now I'm just debating if I should use the same base color, if I'm painting it more metally, you know, more just steel. And I don't think so. I think I should rather use, maybe my crack blue? No, something maybe with a little bit more purple to it. Maybe like burgundy, burgundy, I think. Do you have like a cold purple though? Maybe Xerius purple. I feel like that's the case. Yeah. Hey. I think I should get myself into the habit of writing down the recipe for every miniature that I paint and that I don't make a video about. Because if I ever want to recreate these paint jobs, it would be nice to not have to go over the stream again and jot everything down then as the stream is progressing, but rather have the list at hand already. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Whoop! That actually startled me. There we go. And the problem is, like, sometimes you see things that don't quite add up. For example, this shoulder, like this pauldron right here. And the reason it looks as scuffed as it does is because these miniatures are push fit. These are one of the first Stormcast Eternals ever produced. And they're from that, you know, push fit starter kit of Stormcast Eternals versus Nighthaunt. And yeah, they didn't really fit that well together in my experience. So I had to do a lot of work with green stuff. But back then I could only do so much. Which is why, you know, the pauldron still doesn't align. I can close gaps, I can't realign a pauldron. Ooh, another miniature that I've actually seen and that I've taken a great liking to is actually Commissar Graves. I don't care for the miniature, like, for her as much in, like, the lore. And I feel like she's a little bit, you know, she suffers from the same problem as anything else new 40k nowadays. Meaning that, you know, she's very much a new character in a very well-established setting. But we're supposed to treat her with, like, oh yeah, she's always been there, don't question it. Which, you know, is quite bad. But yeah, Commissar Graves, the model itself, I think, looks fucking dope. Like 2 half-tracks and her in the middle, I feel like it would be fucking great. Like, for a look, for a vibe, you know? Hansa Keatson says, I realized quickly I had to cut off a short part of each push-fit pin so that didn't trap air and glue in the holes and didn't fit properly. Yeah, I realized that too. But unfortunately, even then, you know, as you can see here, for some reason it just didn't want to align. Usually I do that too, just cutting the pins if I encounter any problem. I did that with the Cursed City miniatures as well. Unfortunately, some of the Cursed City miniatures. Yeah, but unfortunately with these ones, it just really didn't want to work. I don't know. I did, however, get them used though as well. I did get them used from Theinrich. He had them stowed away. I don't know what I gave him for it though. Something. Oh yeah, I gave him the chaos bits from the Eldritch Omens box set. That overpriced piece of shit. The only reason I got that was because of the new Elder, because I was so hyped. Damn it, Games Workshop. James did it again! Definitely a content trap as well. Don't know if it paid off. Gotta analyze that again. Yeah, some pins were bored, so I could cut them clean off. Oh yeah. always, I kinda like the feeling, you know? Just cutting off the push fit pins, like, yeah, you're not worthy. I know more than you know? And Hao is already leaving us. Well, already, it's been like 2 hours, I think. Thank you very much for being here, Hao. Great to have met you. Hopefully, I'll see you again. Best of luck with your sensor, and best wishes for your back pain. Or rather, against your back pain, if you catch my drift. Cheers, mate. So, what else? Like, I see this small, like, pouch or pack somewhere here. Don't quite know. And of course, the wrench. However, the wrench I feel like should be just plain metal as well. This was when I bought the Skaven-type box. The models were so greatly molded. Oh yeah? And then I went back to Creek and they had mold lines everywhere. Like, bruh. Yeah. I gotta say, you know, you can... Sometimes it's very irresponsible to get yourself the new edition, like the new hype box set with the new models and everything, you know? Sometimes you really, on a financial and logistical level, can't justify the purchase of those boxes. However, no matter when you open them, they'll still feel like they're fresh from the factory, because that's what these miniatures are in those boxes. And I gotta say, that has never been disappointing. Like, even the Cursed City boxes that I've painted like years after the fact, oh, always great. Like, the crisp miniatures with barely any mold lines and perfect fittings. Oh, dude. Always a pleasure. Alright. For these little pouches, I feel like I should get a little bit of a different brown tone, so why not do Mornfang Brown? Mornfang Brown. I'm very, you know, I really want to get started with... Should I do this thing, Mornfang Brown as well? Not quite sure. Nah, would be too bright. What color should I do the sheath? What do you think? Like this thing. Yeah, sold off so many models because I had branched out too much, and I just keep the Guard and Ultra Smurfs. Fair enough. Yeah. Currently, thankfully, like, my girlfriend actually never got tired of the miniatures that I owned. Like, of course, she wouldn't be happy if I bought some new ones now, which is fair enough. But she never got tired of the ones that I already owned, so I didn't really ever, thankfully, had any reason to sell them. Like, be it financial, be it spatial, you know, I always had a place to put them, even if I had to bring them to my parents, now for the move. But yeah, I have branched out a lot as well, simply due to the fact that a lot of my, you know, I tell the story all the time, a lot of my friends stopped playing, collecting, painting, and then, you know, either sold or just straight up gave me the armies that they had collected. So I've actually got a little bit of everything. I've even got some Lord of the Rings miniatures, which, now that I've been to Warhammer World, I actually want to turn into, like, 2 nice little dioramas. Because my girlfriend likes the Lord of the Rings and she likes dioramas now. So, you know, double whammy if you want. Back! Let's go! How'd the side quest go? Achieved everything that you wanted? Alright. Okay, I don't want to go too crazy. However, I do want to take a little bit of purple. A little underwhelming? Ah. Well, it do be like that sometimes, doesn't it? don't it? Ooh, wow, that was sketchy. It's really a little bit unfortunate that I really don't get to game much. Maybe this weekend, maybe tomorrow a little bit, but it all it also currently really doesn't feel the same, if you catch my drift. Like, I can't just relax in front of a game. I always have to think about work that still needs doing and the precious time that I'm wasting, unfortunately. I'm also having a bit of a moment currently, so that's great. Ah, dang. Well, you know, it's always darkest before dawn, my friend. You know what I've recently rediscovered for myself now in these times of pressure and stress? It's maybe a little bit cringe to say, but I've been taking great pleasure in just seeing people build and present their model railways. That's like a thing that has always fascinated me from a very young age. And now, for some reason, I've gotten back into it. I don't know really what the catalyst was for that. But, yeah, just watching people present their model railways, build model railways. I've even watched, like, classic Thomas and Friends. Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends again. Like, the classic seasons 1 to, I feel like 5 or 6. Oh, peak cinema. That was some proper children's entertainment. Was great too. That's like one of the few things that actually helped relax. Take it easy, you know. Rice, mind telling me what type of Terminator you're painting? What Legion am I looking at? Because apparently it is not Alpha Legion, as far as we know. So what is it? I don't think it's Night Lords either. I'd be rather surprised. Maybe the Sirius Purple is a little bit of a stretch. However, I did want to attempt on experimenting a little bit more. And I feel like the knowledge that I could gain from this might also help me with painting for my diploma. So. Secret. Damn it. But it's nothing official, nor is it homebrew. So it's neither official nor homebrew? Alright. Okay. Okay. So it's really secret then. But you do know what you're doing, right? It's not like you're throwing like darts. And wherever the pins land is, you know, whichever paint pot gets pierced by the dart, you pick to paint. Right? I'm also using Sirius Purple. Let's fucking go. Having a proper paint along. By the way, I've seen you and I forgot who else, but I saw you with another person hanging out in the voice chat recently. Was that good? Did that work out nicely? Still so unfortunate that I really usually can't come to those events, but... The Sirius Purple is such a weird name to me because it sounds borderline identical to my OC's name, Sirius. Okay. Yeah, I do get that. My OC is named Valeros. Not Valerius, but Valeros. But, you know... my Steam username, one of my old Steam usernames was like Valerius something. And as someone who took Latin in school, was always quite I always got a little bit of whiplash when I saw the name Valerius somewhere Like either inscribed on like a tombstone or something. Yeah, we just chilled. Nice, that's cool. Nice. One day I'll manage to get in there myself. But maybe that'll have to wait either after the diploma or after the move. Otherwise I feel like I would not be a very pleasant, very chill individual. As opposed to that I'm now. Very intrigued to see how my diploma will go. I do have high hopes. I do have high hopes. Right now, it looks like I actually might be able to achieve everything that I want to achieve. So that's quite good. I do have a lot of, like, speaking about Skaven Tide, I actually split the Skaven Tide box set with my pal Theinrich. He painted the Skaven, and I painted, or rather I got the Stormcast Eternals. I've built some of them. I feel like I should do another building stream where I build the other Stormcast Eternals. And I also already know what kind of look they should have. I don't want to spoil too much, but it will be something I feel like rather different, rather exciting of course, and something that might be familiar to most of us. So, you know, just a little bit on the sidelines to once again be excited about for the future, unfortunately. But yeah, those won't be the last Stormcast that you will see here. But I'm very happy at how this scheme is coming along. So even though the other Stormcast, I can tell that much, won't have this scheme might make a reappearance with the steel helms for Age of Sigmar. Cities of Sigmar. Okay, what else? What else? The sheath. I still don't know what to do for the sheath, so I'll leave that alone for now. And that thing I feel like should just be painted. Like a dark color. Like what? What? I feel like ashen grey maybe? A little bit darker ashen grey, so I'm gonna just take the ashen grey and some acrylic black, blend it together to get an even darker tone. I've realized one thing, and I feel like that's quite annoying. Anytime I stream in the summer, it tends to get so warm for some reason later in the evening. I don't know why. Maybe it's a mixture of ambient temperature and my PC just giving off heat. Oh, but I always start sweating. Don't know why. Always happens when, like, it doesn't happen during the day, funnily enough. Always in the evening. That might also be just my body telling me that I should call it quits someday soon. Sometime soon. But we'll see. I did promise you a long stream, so I'm gonna try to keep going for a little bit longer at least. Okay. Just a little bit of grey. I feel like I want to pick out the runes with maybe some oil paints later on to give them like a nice glow effect. Not 100% sure on that. The helmet as well has some details to attend to. But the next thing that I want to pick out are their muscles. Starting with, of course, Night Questor flesh. just that seems an appropriate color for these knights. I've seen some people start with, actually with like burgundy or something. Maybe I should use serious purple then? Nah. Don't want to get too crazy. And I don't want to have like, I still want to have the miniature look overall rather cold and misty. I don't know how else to describe it. Dull, maybe? Like, not dull in concept, but dull in appearance, if that makes sense. So I'm not gonna do that. Feels kind of cursed to have a Stormcast Eternal with like just bare arms here. Simply because I still am of my initial precognition, I don't know if that's the right word, my initial impression that Stormcast Eternals are much like Thousand Suns, just empty armor with like maybe lightning, or like just their souls bound to empty armors. So it's quite weird seeing just like a guy in these armors. They really are a lot like Space Marines. But nice that they have it. Definitely helps with the overall aesthetic. Yeah, bare arms. I still remember when Space Marines were just souls. Space Marines were... no. SC. What was SC? SC. SC. I don't know the abbreviation, sorry. I'm gonna feel really stupid once you tell me. But I'll be also more knowledgeable. SC? Space something? Stormcast. Oh yeah! Oh, they did used to be only souls? Only souls sounds like Slanish's, you know, OnlyFans, OnlyFans page. But yeah, they did used to be only souls, so it doesn't, like, it wasn't a false, like, idea from me. Really? Oh shit. Completely forgot about that then. Damn. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a proper guy who you want to... This guy you want to have working on your ballista. If you know what I'm trying to say. Stormcasting my ballista till I celestial. Sometimes I do just be saying stuff. Alright. How's this armor supposed to go? Not quite sure what is cloth and what is metal. Maybe I should look up some reference pictures for the next one. Well, well, well. Understandable. What do we have here? Oh wow, that's some buff arms, holy shit. That's some proper sculpting right here. Hell yeah. 3% body fat. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hoppala. I feel like these guys look rather fun already. And I'm glad how well I'm actually managing to stick to my vision. Without having to concept something beforehand. It's quite nice. Alrighty. Not gonna lie, I've been kind of appreciating all of the relationships I see out there. Yes, I'm extremely jealous, but I'm happy for them. I do get the feeling, definitely, after, you know, I used to chase after the relationships back in the day. Got rejected quite often. But I definitely, you know, I definitely know where you're coming from. It's just nice to be able to appreciate something from afar. How did I do this color? I didn't use Thunderhawk Blue, did I? No, I used this one, the Fang. Yeah. I have this, for example, when watching like PewDiePie, you know? The man, the myth, the legend. Like him just sharing vlogs from his life as a family man. Or like Luke from the Outer Boys YouTube channel. Oh hell yeah. I'm really enjoying that stuff. Lately. Not lately, but like quite some time already. Always was nice. Even just people telling me about their relationships, for example. I sound parasocial as fuck, talking about the relationships of others and only naming YouTubers here. But, you know, for example, all the, like, weddings I went to and stuff, like, I was always very happy that two people just found one another and made it work. But to be brutally honest, I find myself in the same situation where they're broken and give me that vibe. Oh, yeah, really? I'm out. It's probably really mean, but I can't go through that again. Yeah. It also makes me realize that a wild truth wasn't entirely fair. But hey, I was one of those haven't been treated right situations. I see, I see. Well, I guess that's better than people who look at their just, you know, ended relationships and don't know where it came from or don't come to pass with it, don't come to terms with it. I guess what you're going through right now is better than that. Some sort of acceptance and just, you know, at least that's what I'm gathering from your messages. However, what I've realized is, you know, after my, what, 7th or 8th rejection, I also was like, alright, this dating shit is not for me. I'm just gonna, you know, pour all my efforts into Warhammer and content creation and university, you know, all that stuff. And my father always said to me that you should never chase luck, because it will always run away. You should just wait for luck to come to you. Or if you want to have a more religious approach, you know, God works in mysterious ways. And it was really, like, I always said, oh yeah, okay, the old man is talking again, you know? Of course. But it was really after that, after I gave completely up, like, I gave up completely on any sort of, like, relationships and didn't try to pursue anything, that I met my now fiancé. And even though I even actively went against it, because I was like, oh no, I'm not ready for that kind of stuff. He just swept me on my feet and threw me over my shoulder. And I'm sitting here, trying to think about how to make a living to support a family. Damn. How times change. Just been 2 years, not even. It was great in the start, it was amazing actually. But at some point, yeah, she just clocked out mentally, which I don't blame her, she went through a lot, but I'm still a human. Yeah. Yeah, that's rough. I've realized how much work relationships actually are, and, you know, the kind of mental state you need to have. Like you need to, or rather you need to prepare yourself to have, to keep making it work. I've never understood that from like books and like tales of people saying, oh yeah, we made it work. And I was like, why did you make work? You were in love, of course it worked. But no, it's not like that. It turned out not to be like that. Dang, I'm really, like, this is kind of deep, but holy shit, this, like, I'm cooking right now. I really like this scheme, holy shit. Panzerkisten says I gotta head off now. Fair enough. Good luck with your exam work, Ocean. Thanks for the streaming for us. Hey, man, my pleasure. I love it. And I feel like in this regard, You know, it's almost midnight, there's almost nobody left. Looking at my own, you know, remembering my analytics, I know that most people won't chime in fresh for like at least another hour before like the next spike in viewers, you know, keeping it logistical. And I don't think I can do that long, especially not as a bridge to then stream more. I should have definitely paid attention to my energy reservoirs more today. Well, agreed, looking good. Thank you very much. Well, this will not be the last time we saw these guys then. I'll be happy to stream again. I don't know when, though. I feel like this has worked quite well. So maybe, depending on what mood I and Theinrich are tomorrow, maybe, because he's going to come over tomorrow, maybe, I don't quite know, it's a little bit spontaneous. Maybe I'll stream again tomorrow. Maybe, I gotta see. I can't make any promises, like hand to heart. I'm not saying this to like confuse you guys or irritate you, I just tell you how it is. I would like to stream tomorrow again, roughly the same time but a little bit earlier, like 6 p.m. actually. I hope to make it work, and if it doesn't, I'll keep you up to date when the next time is gonna be. Until then, thank you very much for being here. It's been a blast to come back to such a hype community. Holy shit, I say it again and again. I may only have a small community, but I have a fucking quality one. Thank you so much for being here. Again, it's been fun for me. I hope it's been fun for you. And until next time, hold your head up high, kings. Keep having fun painting. You know, best of luck in any walks of life. And yeah, we'll keep in touch. Until then, take good care of yourself. See ya!